Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the start of a new era, a new channel. Welcome to the first episode of Cinema Kings. I am Noah, aka TCK Films, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Darius and RJ.
So
And yeah, this is gonna be the start. We are the three of us are all. You might know us from the Kings of Pop Culture stream over on the Chosen One channel. And we decided, you know what, we have a lot more movies we want to talk about that aren't like the big blockbuster movies or shows. So we're like, you know what, we've been talking about this for years, right? Like we should start
yeah,
our own movie podcast, and that's what Cinema Kings is. We'll be talking about the latest movie news. We'll be doing rankings. We'll be doing movie reviews, TV reviews, talking about pretty much anything that really we want to, movie and TV wise. And yeah, we're really excited to start this journey. I think it'll be fun, and hopefully, we'll look back at this episode and we'll be like, "Man, who would have thought?"
yeah. Look at us.
Look at us.
Exactly. So, we're gonna start out this episode. We're gonna start out doing introductions in case you guys don't know us or you're not too familiar with us. And then we'll go into the Batman Part 2 news because that's been a very hot topic. And then since it's a new year, we're going to do our top 5 plus some honorable mentions of our favorite movies from 2024, then transition to our most anticipated movies of 2025. All right. So, introductions. Anyone want to go first? I go first if you want.
You go for it.
All right.
Go for it.
So, my name is Noah. Like I said, I'm TCK Films. I have my own channel where I started out as a Cobra Kai channel, and then eventually evolved into just a film channel. I've always loved movies. I've always loved TV shows. I've always loved talking about them, especially. I really got into film. I think I've always loved movies, but more like the superhero type of movies. And then when I think I was like in 8th grade, where I really got into like the Oscars and all those movies nominated. And then I just got down the rabbit hole of all of these, iconic cinema movies. And then ever since then, I've just been obsessed with movies and TV. I'm going to school. I'm studying film. I'm a freshman in college, and I'm loving that so far. And then we'll get into this more, but the three of us met on shout out to the Chosen One, his channel a few years ago, where we all talked about Cobra Kai. That's how we all met. Three of us, huge Cobra Kai fans. And then we slowly started our own segment on his channel called the Kings of Pop Culture, which we still are doing, where we just talked about mostly Cobra Kai, but Batman, Superman, all the superhero movies, mostly blockbuster movies. And we were doing that for what, almost 4 years now, 3 years.
Yeah,
Something
4.
like that.
Yeah.
It's going on 4. Yeah, it'll be 4 in August, I think. Yeah.
But we've been talking about doing our own thing for a while because 3 of us are like the most similar, I feel like, with our
We give, we're A24. We're like film buffs,
Yeah.
We watch everything. Like there's
Yeah.
like not a type of movie I think that we will like we just won't watch. We pretty much watch everything, I think. Not everything, because you can't watch
Not
everything.
but most things out of the year.
Yeah.
And so we've talked about this for a while, and we were like, let's just do it. Let's just start it up.
Yeah.
And here we go. So yeah.
You want to go there?
Sure. I'm Darius. I am currently a senior in college, which feels really weird to say because it feels like I just started. But yeah, I'd say like I've always loved like stories, not just movies, like stories in general. Since I was a kid, I actually started out thinking I wanted to be an author before like film kind of spoke to me, like that medium kind of spoke to me. And I think like I've always loved movies, but I think like the first time like I was like, this is what I want to do was probably Baby Driver, which was like,
Oh yeah.
was that like 2017? Like I
Yeah.
think.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to be like 14. Like I saw that movie and I was like, whoa, like this is like next level. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And ever since then, pretty much I've been kind of set along the path of like screenwriting. That's my main passion. Like I like directing, but I think like if I'm gonna carve out like a little spot for myself within Hollywood, it'd be through writing. But yeah, met these guys on the Chosen One on Jacob's channel. That was purely by like chance. That was crazy how that happened. Like I think I met RJ first, and then
Venom.
yeah, then Noah after shortly after, because we're all some of like the longest like tenured members of the Kings. I think we were both we were all pretty much towards the beginning of that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like we said, there's pretty much no movie I won't at least give a chance. Like I've watched, especially this year, watched some pretty out there stuff that I never thought I would watch a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So because I was also like kind of a blockbuster superhero kind of guy, and I still like those movies, but I think like everyone should kind of at least give like art house movies a chance, expand those tastes, expand your horizons. So yeah.
All right, I guess it's my turn. I'm RJ. You're not gonna know what that stands for, except these boys. But obviously, we met through the King's Pop Culture, through Cobra Kai, and we talked about like other films. And it was mostly like us three that we like, talked about like Spielberg's filmography or Nolan's or some of these other directors like Paul Thomas Anderson that don't get enough love, and they're not like blockbuster directors, but. I've had a weird relationship with film. When I was a kid, I always like loved movies. My first ever movie that I saw in theaters was Batman Begins, and that's how I kind of became a Nolan fan. I mean, I wasn't at 5 years old, but as I got older, I watched his films, and he's like my favorite director of all time. And high school, I kind of like went through that athlete phase. I still watched movies, but I was just
he was your basic
on the basketball team. I was like
jerk. He was your
yeah, pretty much. I don't want to say it, but
shoving people in
I
lockers.
didn't realize,
Johnny Lawrence.
It wasn't until like after I graduated high school that like my love for film like kind of like came back and stuff. And I didn't go to college, but I started like getting involved with like more people, like contacting film schools, and like I'm looking at taking like film like screenwriting classes in soon, like in the new year. That's like one of my goals heading into 2025, and once I get like some funds for it. But yeah, I write a lot of short films, and during the pandemic, me and my good friend Will, we like wrote a bunch of like screen like scripts, and we like aim to like film one of our short films in the summer. So I'm hoping to get that off the ground.
Sick.
And you and Darius, you guys started.
Yeah.
We've been writing stuff. I've written stuff for like just for fun with with my classmates and stuff at school. Yeah, like the pandemic did a lot for like creativity. I mean, it sucked obviously, but like when you had nowhere to go, I mean, like it's easy to stretch that creativity a little bit. Yeah.
Literally all
watch movies. I watch so much.
Yeah.
Like just write and write and write.
Yeah.
So these two want to be writers. I've always wanted to be a director. So if you guys are sticking with us now, stick with us, because you never know where we could end up. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I guess if you want to know a little bit more about us, our personality, we should name off some of our favorite movies. I think when you list your favorite movies, it tells a lot about yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, because I'll start, I'll say my top 4 just because I got it right up here on Letterboxd at TCK Films. My favorite movie ever is Shawshank Redemption, and I know it's an obvious pick, but that is really the movie I think that got me into this rabbit hole of all these. Exactly, yeah, like that hit me in a certain way. Like I felt all these different things. I did all these research on how movies are made, how this movie was made. So that movie, not only is it just, I think, an amazing, perfect movie, but it also really got me into the movies. Another one of my favorites is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, sitting right behind RJ right there.
Yep.
I absolutely adore this movie. It's probably one of the movies I've watched the most ever in my life. I watched it at least 3 times a year since it's come out in 2019.
It's so rewatchable.
It's such a fun movie. The cast is amazing. The ending is insane. I love the whole vibe to it. I love the way it's shot. I just like Tarantino. It's Tarantino. He's always gonna hit. And I just love the way that whole movie looks, and I love the vibes. I really like the whole 60s, 70s vibe. I've always adored that, like music, everything. Another one of my favorite, La La Land. Yeah, that movie hit me like a freaking truck when I watched that. That was the first movie that made me cry. And I don't think any of us are really big fans of musicals, but this movie I cannot get enough of. I think the songs are amazing. The colors are beautiful. It's just a great movie to look at visually. And of course, Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, their chemistry is unmatched. And then finally, a movie I actually watched for the first time last year is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Jack Nicholson.
Oh,
yeah, hard watch.
Definitely a hard watch. That's one of those movies where I just sat there for a week just thinking about this movie. I did a bunch of research on the book. Jack Nicholson, of course, I think honestly his best performance, and he's great in everything. But yeah, that movie I watched for the first time last year, and I absolutely loved it. So, yeah.
You want to go, Darius?
Sure. All right. So I'll do 4 as well, just to keep this energy going. Number 1 pick, it's a basic pick, but I mean I don't care. Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. In my opinion, up there with the best sequels ever made in any genre. You can't deny its impact. It's a piece of amazing filmmaking. Even outside of like the obvious twist, I just think like it's a flawless movie, perfectly paced. Luke's journey. Yoda is one of the greatest mentor characters, one of the greatest characters ever. Vader is one of the greatest villains ever. It's just I could rewatch that movie 8 times a year and still find something new I love in it. 2, I gotta go 2001. Space Odyssey with my dude Stanley Kubrick. That movie, first off, the first time I watched the movie, it was insane. I was too young to like appreciate it the first time I watched it. I think I was like 12, and it just completely flew over my head. But like as I've gotten older and I've watched it more and I've like consumed videos and like research about it, I've just fallen in love with it, like what it means, what it meant for filmmaking, how ahead of its time it was. Like there's something new to find in that movie every time you watch it. I think it's one of the greatest sci-fi movies of all time, and I love sci-fi. So, 3 actually came as a surprise to me about how much I like this movie, because I don't think it's the best movie like in this series, but it's my favorite. And I think that's the first Creed. Like that movie.
Okay.
I know that.
It's
Yeah.
The movie is perfect. There was nothing I would change about it.
Yeah.
It is like the way that I feel when I finish watching that is like I almost feel like I have to watch it again like afterwards, because I feel like I have to watch it twice every time. Like it's the long take boxing scene, dude. Oh my god, like that is for like a franchise like Rocky, where it's like it's such a high bar. Like the idea that movie was even made, and like the fact that it's arguably like one of the best in the series is just like I don't know. Ryan Coogler, man.
Yeah. Underrated. Extremely underrated.
I have a feeling we're gonna be talking about him in Most Anticipated again. But
yeah, definitely.
Creed. I guess my last one would probably be The Shining, another Kubrick one. Listen, I'm a big horror guy. I love horror. It's probably my favorite genre, like overall. And The Shining, in my opinion, is the greatest horror movie ever made. I mean, there's some other ones that have an argument, like Halloween and a few others.
I second that.
Dude, The Shining just has such an eerie vibe. Jack Nicholson is like, it's one of his best performances, and that's saying a lot because Jack Nicholson, like, there's so many to choose from. Like, the atmosphere is crazy. What the movie actually means is crazy. Yeah. It's so good. I think it's better than the book, and I'm a big Stephen King fan. I think it's way better than the book, which is like I'll probably get hanged on some corners of the internet for saying that, but it's true. I like it way better, and that's
one of those mind fucks.
Yeah, dude, it's so insane. That's
What
another
is
one where you
it?
can consume like so many videos and there's so many theories about what actually is going on. I love movies like that, and just happens to be that Kubrick loves to make those type of movies. So yeah, that's probably my top 4.
Didn't Stephen King like hate the movie? Like he hate it so much that he like made like many TV series about it.
That sucked. Yes, it was terrible.
Did he actually?
Yes,
Yes, it's so
yes.
bad. It's like you made it like
No
the
one knows
90s.
about it. Like it,
Yeah. What was it on? It had to be on.
It was like a TV. It was like a TV mini movie where like it was like episodes and they edited it together as like a movie, and it was bad.
I never even know that.
Yeah, it's not.
Why does he hate the movie?
Because the ending's different in the movie.
the ending's different, and like the character of Jack Nicholson plays is different from the book.
Yeah, it's like the book. He's more just like a bad. He's more just evil. Like he just.
So he wanted it to be an exact replica.
I guess so.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess
Stephen King.
Yeah,
love the guy, but he got some weird opinions.
you do, bro.
Yeah.
He hyped up the Flash.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did.
Really?
Yeah, he said it's like. I mean, the director's his buddy, so like I can't be mad. But I mean.
Okay.
All right, my turn. My number 1. I mean, I'm sure you two already know. It's The Departed. I love this movie so much. I can watch it over and over again. I lost count how many times I've seen it. It's personally my favorite Scorsese film, other than The Wolf of Wall Street. It's really neck and neck. I feel like this movie it had made me a Leo fan. I'm a big Leonardo DiCaprio fan. He's my favorite actor of all time, and his performance. He's had so many performances in his filmography. I feel like this one kind of like just gets right in the middle, but he is terrific in this movie, and he should have got an Oscar nom, but Warner Brothers wanted to give it to Blood Diamond, and they chose that movie instead. But I feel like he was better than this. But you pick up so many like things. It's one of those. I think Scorsese said at one point that it was the first movie that he made that actually had a plot, and because his other movies feel kind of different and kind of the same in a way. But I'm a big gangster fan. I love gangster movies, mob, all that. Like I'm just a sucker for it. But Matt Damon's good. Alec Baldwin, everybody's good. It's an all-star cast.
Right?
Oh, that is Mark. Yeah, that this movie is Mark Wahlberg's performance. Yes, and I don't know why.
That's one of the only movies I actually like him. Right? Yeah,
I think he did. I'm pretty sure he did. But
this is one of the only movies where I like his acting. Is this movie?
Yeah, because he's playing someone different than himself.
Yeah,
and Jack Nicholson's freaking crazy in this movie.
That's
always.
And the scene where him and Leo and he's like, "I'm not the rat," and that the improvise, like he pulls a gun out. It was like that's it was crazy. But I could watch that movie over and over again. My number 2, it's one of Darius is The Shining. I like Darius. I'm a big horror guy. Like I love horror. That's my favorite genre. And The Shining, I watch it at least once every year, especially during the Halloween season. Jack Nicholson, it's crazy in this. Even though this movie kind of has a little bit of dark backstory with like the actress that plays
oh yeah.
Yeah, Kubrick stuff.
Yeah, that even though it does, it's still a great movie, and everybody's good in it. It has like an eerie feeling, like you said. The score, I think the score doesn't get talked about enough, and the way they use old timey music. Yeah, the hotel's crazy, and the way they use like old music, and they make it creepy, like old music from like the 1920s or 40s or whatever. It's creepy. And
like the stars in you, it's ruined forever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I love that movie. 3, I would have to say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And it's I'm like Noah said, I'm a sucker for like old like period pieces where like it takes place in like a 60s period, 70s, 80s. I really love it. And DiCaprio's performance in this, I feel like it kind of like that's another one where it just kind of like falls in like it doesn't get talked about enough. Like it got talked about like during the award seasons, but it's not gonna get talked about in the same realm as like Wolf of Wall Street or like Revenant or whatever.
That crash out scene.
Yeah, like he's really good in it, and like comedy is hard, and he's like everybody's basically, and he's like really good. Like him and Brad Pitt,
Brad Pitt's
it's the
amazing.
first movie where like him and Brad Pitt are in the same movie.
Yeah,
And
That's so weird to think. That's so weird to think about that. Like that.
Yeah.
hadn't happened
all
before.
those years.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like that was really good to see like them. And I feel like I would be okay if Tarantino doesn't come back and make a 10th one, even though I want him to. But like, I mean, that movie right there.
That's how he goes out. It's like, I mean, that's
The way what I like about the movie is like it kind of is Tarantino, his way of saying goodbye to like the industry, because like it's also about like change, and like I feel like Rick Dalton kind of represents Tarantino and how and when you hear this movie is gonna like age like fine wine, because it's really relevant for like how Hollywood and like the film industry like moves and evolves, and like you see like directors like Scorsese say like they missed this part of film, and from their perspective I can kind of see it, like especially when you watch a movie like this.
That time in the movie, it's the transitional time in
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
It's a very transitional time, like
huge transition from westerns to
the depth of like old Hollywood to like the modern like blockbuster kind of feeling of Hollywood is kind of
and that's what it does. Like it's gonna keep evolving. My number 4 would have to be Inception. I love Inception.
3 Leo movies.
Yeah, I mean, like that's my guy, bro. Like, but I love Inception. This is top 3 Nolan. Like it's got it. This movie right like after The Dark Knight. This is like the movie that really made me a Nolan fan. The way the ending, if you know, you don't like it makes you think like, is Leo's character Cobb, is he home with his kids, and like is it a dream, like is it there? Like I love the way Nolan uses time, and I feel like movies like Inception, Oppenheimer, that's where he uses time the best, and that's a big part of his movies.
Yeah, so those are our top 4 ever. The ever changing though. You ask us our favorites in a week, it could be a whole different list.
Tomorrow might be different.
That's my favorites today. That's the thing. Like
we watch a lot of shit too. Like I know I haven't seen a lot of movies that could be in my top. But yeah. So our next topic, I'll let RJ you start out, but I'll do a little introduction. We're gonna talk about the Batman part 2, but I just want to say the 3 of us are huge The Batman fans.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I say it's the best Batman movie, live action.
I agree on most days. Sometimes.
Well, I say
Dark
The Dark Knight's a better movie. The Batman's a better Batman.
Yeah, me and you should.
That's true.
That's what I've always said. So we are huge Batman fans, especially the Batman fans. We love the first movie. It's one of the most movies we talk about a lot. And it's going through a lot of pre-production drama, you could say right now. Obviously, we know the DCU starting up. And yeah, RJ, you want to take control?
First I want to say when I woke up to this news, this news hurt me and it ruined my whole day.
That Batman's being delayed a year.
And now like it really hurts because like we're in 2025 and like we're gonna really like look forward to it coming out next year. But I'm reading the article. It was very weird how they said like it's still slated to start filming towards the latter half of like 2025. And I think maybe like filming might get delayed, but I know Matt is a slow writer. He takes his time, and we appreciate him for that. Let him cook, as the young kids would say. But I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, with the new DCU happening, and James Gunn starting his new universe, and hopefully that ends up being good. We need DC to like be good, please. So, but it's been weird because like both, James Gunn, he's not just a director, but he's running DC with Peter Safran, and he's saying that the script is not finished, but like a week ago, before the week or two ago, before that delay happened, and what James said on Twitter, Matt said that like he's finishing the script. Like I'm pretty sure like there's videos of him saying like he's finishing it. So like I don't know. Me and Noah have some theories on what's going on. We've chatted.
We're not happy.
We're not having. We have some theories
Ooh.
on what's going on.
Yeah,
but it's weird. But yeah, you're
Yeah.
good, son.
I was just gonna say about those theories that you're right. Like a week before this news came out, I'm pretty sure they confirmed the script was done. Someone confirmed that the script was done or almost done. And then a week later, the same week pretty much that the Superman trailer came out and blew up, broke the internet, we find out that the Batman Part 2 is delayed over a year. Coincidence? I do not think so. I think if it's not confirmed yet that the Batman will be a part of the DCU universe, that it will be. I think the reason for this long delay is they're gonna wait to see Superman's reaction if that movie is good, which I think it will be, and then they're gonna do some reshoots for the Batman Part 2, make it a little bit more canon to the DCU, add some references, maybe cameo.
Yeah.
But we just want to let Matt Reeves have full control of this script, of this whole movie. He's the director. He should be in charge. Yeah.
That's
But
really
also,
my
before
whole
you go, I want to say I've seen like a lot of people like get on Matt for being slow. There's rumors that like there's like some personal issues going on. If that is true, I think people need to like calm down and lay off him because you never know what someone's going through with like himself or like his family. So I just think that people should like lay off of him. Go ahead, Derek.
Calm down. Yeah, definitely. Like give the man some space and some grace so we don't know what he's going through, and like that kind of stuff should not be reported for his own privacy. I mean, if he wants people to know, he'll tell us. Like that's not our business. We're not entitled to know that. But yeah, that my whole problem with this is just a weird situation. This is hindsight's 2020, and I know Warner Brothers in a bad spot when Gunn took over. They need money badly. But this is why I said at the time I didn't think that the DCU should start until the Reeves-verse was over, because now we have this weird situation where there is a Batman in the DCU, which we know because Creature Commandos just told us. If you watch that show, there was a Batman spoiler. There's a Batman tease like in the newest episode, which makes this situation even weirder because it's like, well, Batman is in the DCU. And it's gonna be there's only so long that we can go without seeing him, or before it gets weird. So they're gonna have to make a decision on that. And it's just I just wanted the Reeves verse to just exist on its own.
Yeah,
like if that's what Matt wants to do. If he wants to fold into DCU, I'm cool with that. I won't like it, but I'll like accept it. But it doesn't feel like that's necessarily what's happening. It feels like, again, we don't know anything. It feels like they don't want there to be two Batmen at the same time, and that they're trying to consolidate for like because they don't want to confuse the audience and they don't want to compete with themselves. Which I get that, but it's like you don't undercut like the Reeves verse so far. The Batman, amazing. Penguin, amazing. For the sake of convenience, like you're trying to put two things together that, in my opinion, don't mix well. Like we haven't seen Superman, but the tone of that seems like completely different than what the Batman is doing, which could work theoretically, but it's like you got aliens and people with powers running around. I just can't see that existing in like.
And we know Matt Reeves said he doesn't want to do fantastical Batman.
Yeah, and like people are gonna expect that out of DCU Batman, so it's a weird situation.
Yeah,
I think we all agree that if you're gonna merge Robert Pattinson's Batman into the DCU, you should let Matt Reeves have his trilogy first. Give him his trilogy at least.
And he's the beginning, middle, and the guy.
Exactly. Yeah. Give him the story he wants to tell, or at least a trilogy of it, and then you can bring it in, because it's like I said, Matt Reeves, he said he doesn't want to do fantastical Batman. If you bring him into the DCU, it could change up his plans. And it's not a coincidence, like the Clayface movie's now going to come out right before that.
And Matt Reeves is the producer on that, by the way.
Yeah. And that's confirmed DCU, which we didn't know for a few days if that was going to be DCU or Matt Reeves or its own thing. And now we do know it's DCU. So I could see that movie ending with a little tease for the Batman Part 2, which then brings it into the DCU. I just hope like we don't get these, the problem with a lot of superhero movies these days is the studio just gets into the script too much, and they change things, and it's not good.
To
You
add on
gotta
to your point on that, studio execs don't think like we do, or creatives.
No.
They're probably thinking, okay, because when they got involved with Superman and Lois, I was like, okay, there's no way they're gonna like do two Batmans. They're probably thinking, okay, the Batman made $780 million, probably gonna make more with the sequel. The Penguin was a huge hit for HBO, and not only HBO but also Max, the streaming service. So they're probably thinking, why are we doing? They're looking at numbers, and they're looking at the trailer for Superman, and they're like, okay, why are we trying to do two Batmans? I guarantee you there's ongoing discussions about how to handle Batman. Like,
definitely.
yeah,
And
they're definitely doing that.
It's really unfortunate because there's a lot of problems because the premise of Brave and the Bold that we've heard is Batman and Damian, right? The problem with that is if it is Pattinson, he's not at the age to have like a 12-year-old kid. Like that doesn't make much sense. Like you're gonna have Pattinson be like what, like 30, like 35, like he's gonna have like a 12-year-old kid. Like that's I just can't see. Maybe in like 5 to 6 years or 8, like something like that, I could see that. But like now, because the whole thing is like, how long in the DCU are we gonna have to wait? The DCU are gonna have to wait for Batman to show up. Like they're not gonna hold off and do all these like this Superman, Supergirl, like Booster Gold. I think is gonna be like we're not gonna have that many projects until they have to address where Batman is. And I don't think that's gonna be enough time for Reeves to finish the trilogy. I mean, Pattinson's
they could rush him. This, like, I'm not even worried about part 2. They could rush them for part 3. Let's say if they are gonna still keep it separate, they're probably gonna be like, okay, you can't take this much amount of time for the first 2 movies. You gotta we gotta get the ball rolling. Yeah,
and it's like that crazy. Pattinson's a busy guy. He's got other stuff going on. Like, there's too much. It's just such a weird situation that didn't have to happen, but because of the way like things shaked out with Gunn taking over, like right as the Reeves movie was coming out, like it's all could have been avoided if first off, Warner Brothers treated the DCU properly in the first place. We wouldn't have to be here, but we are. I don't know. I just hope that, like Noah said, like they at least let Reeves finish the trilogy before they. Yeah. If that's what happens, because they could just announce DCU Batman tomorrow, and we all look dumb. But I don't think that's going to happen.
And I really hope, I'm not saying they'll do this, but I really hope they're learning from the mistakes of the DCEU and not trying to rush a team up. Because obviously you need Batman for a Justice League. Like, let's be real. I tried gaslighting myself when I heard this news first that there's going to be 2 Batmans. I was like, bro, you don't really need a Batman Justice League. You do. Like, he's a core member. But DC cooks with the solo stuff. And you have a whole roster, a whole universe of characters that you can make, which is what they're doing so far, that you can do way before you do any team-up movie. So I hope they're not rushing this just so they can get a Batman Superman movie or a Justice League movie. No, stick to the solo stuff. There should be at least 2 Superman movies and at least a Batman trilogy before a Justice League movie, I think, because there's a whole universe within a universe with those characters. You got the Bat family, you got everything. And this is a year 2 Batman at the end of
we're just now seeing him. And
he was
even fought the Joker like anything yet. Like he hasn't.
Don't have Robin. Like,
yeah, there's no Robin. Like there's no hint of him even being involved with the like Ra's al Ghul. So that'll be a retcon if they do that. Like I don't know.
Here's another thing that makes this a whole situation weirder. Matt, when he was like talking about like, he was not saying anything about the plot per se, but he was saying like what Bruce is gonna go through in the sequel, and like about dealing with like he was comparing it to like Gotham to like how the world is now, and there's so much like just turmoil and like sides and stuff. So he's got an idea and he's been writing it. Like I can see like the personal thing happening. Like that may be true and I could be wrong here, but like it just seems so weird because he was talking about it. I think it was like October, November. He was saying like he had like an interview and he was like giving out like details about the script and stuff. And it just seemed, and he was saying that, oh, we're finishing up or something like that. Like I'm pretty sure he said that. I think his co-writer Matt Thomason said it. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
And something's off. And like, I don't want to go at James Gunn here, but like, I kind of trust Matt Reeves' word more like than James Gunn's, because James Gunn has said stuff on
He
Twitter that's
trolls
not true.
Twitter.
We've
Yeah.
talked about this. It's like when you're like the guy,
Yeah.
you have to do like the corporate speak thing where you don't really tell the truth necessarily because it's not that's the best interest of like the company. And listen, like Reeves, like RJ Reeves, I trust Reeves' word on his script more than I trust anyone else's word on it. And like the things we've heard have been contradictory, and I don't know. This is like the whole thing is like if they do film next year, so you're gonna sit on the footage for like
That's what I was saying the other day. Yeah,
Exactly.
which is kind of troubling because it's like, what
because
are you gonna do?
they're saying late summer, and they're gonna start pre-production in like the winter of this year.
Yeah, even if it's a long shoot, that's way too long.
I think it's what I said though. I think they're gonna wait for the Superman reactions to see. Then they're gonna go in the reshoots for this movie and add some things in. Assuming Superman's good and they want to make it in the DCU. I think it's really all they're waiting just for the Superman to decide, put like a definite mark on if it's part of the DCU. And that's why it's delayed so long, so they can go reshoot some things. But I think it's also worth mentioning that there was a title change too.
That's another thing. That's another thing that's odd.
Which could mean nothing. Which Matt Reeves could easily be like, "I want to change the title." That happens a lot. Titles are never really a definite thing until the movie's out. But news, like how much of the script is being changed, it also makes you think.
But here's another thing. I feel like, and you guys could agree, like tell me if you agree or not. I feel like Matt would have walked if there was so much shit going on behind the scenes. Because people don't know that apparently he walked when he first signed on to do the first movie, like before he's like officially signed the dotted lines. He literally told, like, he walked because there was too much meddling in the script from the studio execs, and he walked, and then they came back. They came back to him and said, hey, "Okay, do what you want." Like, that's, I don't know how true that is, but there's like a bunch of rumors that point to that happened.
I mean, I think he would too, but I think there's also, of course, there's always ego involved. Not saying that Matt Reeves or James Gunn has an ego. I think Matt Reeves knows how successful the first Batman was and the Penguin is.
It's his baby.
It's his baby. I don't think he'd want to let it go that easily, even if there are people trying to meddle with it. I think he's going to work with them. I don't think anyone's going to get exactly what they want, studio or Matt Reeves wise. I think there's going to be a change one way or another. I just hope it's more of a collaborative thing but still mostly Matt Reeves, because it's his. Look what he's done so far. Like, why not let it? Like, I don't know. I'm just.
Here's another thing. The studio knows that the Reeves verse is a sure thing with the Batman and Penguin. Whether we are looking for this movie or not, Superman is not a sure thing. It has to come out. It has to be good. It has to be good critically and
make money.
And make money. Yeah. So that's not a sure thing. And there's a lot of pressure on that movie. Reeves verse doesn't have any pressure. Like, people, it's established a new fandom. It's got back. It brought Batman back to the limelight after Snyderverse. But I have to say, but it is what it is. We're just gonna have to wait and see, because I think there's gonna be some news dropping on it soon.
I'll be really interested to see how this plays out, because this is how I see this going. Either something comes out that puts all these worries to bed, and they're gonna stay separate. Like DCU Batman is randomly cast, and like at some point this year, which would basically kill any chance of this happening. Or there's going to be this weird limbo state where we keep hearing stuff about the Batman Part 2, but also stuff about DCU Batman, and we're like trying to put together whether they're going to be one and the same or not. And then Superman's going to come out, and we all think it'll be good.
Yeah.
And they're gonna, WB is going to make their decision on whether they want to merge them or not. So really, all of this should be like decided by Superman, one way or the other. Even more pressure for that movie, but hey.
Hopefully,
I don't think it's gonna stick with that October release. I think they're gonna move it up.
Neither. Yeah,
I think they'll
that's
move it up
just
to
like
March
the
2027.
latest possible. Like
Yeah,
just
that's
Yeah.
yeah. They'll move it up. No,
hopefully, as far as this title change, maybe they're doing the Mr. Freeze Heart of Ice storyline. We talked about this, and they're
I'll be
changing
down
it
for
to
that.
Batman Heart of Ice. I'd be fine with that title change. Maybe they just don't want to bring in part 2 name, which I'd be fine with. Hopefully, we're reading a little bit too much into this, but it's just weird. It's really weird
It's just
timing.
so weird, bro.
we are reading too much into it. I'm not gonna
This
lie.
is one of the strangest situations I think I've seen. Well, besides another movie from another franchise, the opposite franchise that we all know about that. But this is really strange.
Yeah,
I think
don't know.
also just because it's been delayed so many times too, we're just getting a little impatient.
Yeah, especially like a whole year. Like Jesus,
Yeah,
2027.
yeah. Especially when like they said the script was done a week ago. It's like it's just concerning. But I hope it'll be great. Just let Matt Reeves cook, right? Period. Let Matt Reeves
let him
cook.
cook, man. Let that man cook.
Yeah. So yeah, that is our thoughts on the Batman Part 2 news. This I feel like we'll be talking about this almost every episode. I think news is going to keep coming out about this stuff.
Yeah.
We got a lot of time. But anyway, yeah, we can now transition into our first list on this series. We're going to be doing our favorite movies of 2024. We'll say 5 of our honorable mentions, which will be like 10 through 6 on our list, and then we'll go into depth on our top 5 of the year. All right. Want me to start?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, so I'll just go through my honorable mentions, and then I'll say 5, and then we'll all go through our 5, 4, and so on. So honorable mentions at 10, I have Dune Part 2. Hang on, let me get this whole list up. Dune Part 2 at 9, I have Hitman. 8, Civil War. 7, The Apprentice. 6, Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story. And 5, for my 5th favorite movie of the year, I have Anora. A movie that I did not know what I was expecting getting into. I saw the trailer. I was like, oh, this seems interesting. I thought more was going to be like, your basic Cinderella story. But no, it is not. Definitely not. I honestly think the funniest movie of the year. Bless you. The funniest movie of the
Thank
year.
you.
And that whole sequence where she's tied up and those guys are in there, and funniest scene of the year, I feel like. I was laughing my ass off. I did not expect this movie to be funny. And I think it's the funniest movie of the year. But of course, I think the main talking point of this movie is Mikey Madison. I mean, what a performance.
Give her the Oscar.
I think it is my favorite performance of the year. Yeah, definitely give her that Oscar. I mean, if you know what she's like in real life and then you see her in this movie, like completely different.
Even some of her other movies, it's like completely different.
Yeah.
Like,
this one.
yeah.
She gives such a complex and strong performance, and her voice in this movie, like the Brooklyn accent, I think it's ranked up there with some of the best Brooklyn accents.
Her and Margot Robbie.
I was about to say next to Margot Robbie in Wolf of Wall Street. It's just this movie. It's very consistent. Like it's never boring. You're always hooked in. I think it has to do with the performances. I don't know the guy's name, but the guy who played the guy she married in this movie, really good. He was like this. I don't even know. You don't know what this guy's next move is gonna be because he's such a loose cannon. I think the guy playing him did a really good job. I love the whole vibe of the movie. Stylistic vibes. I liked the way it was shot. Yeah, it was one of my favorites of the year.
Yeah. You want me to go?
Chris?
All right, so I'll start with
honorable mentions. Yeah.
Honorable mentions. 10, I'll go Alien Romulus. Listen, I love the Alien parts of the Alien franchise. I love the first 2. Alien 3, you can make a whole video about what happened with that movie. Fincher didn't even claim that thing. I like parts of Prometheus. Like, I like the idea of it, but it's just not what I'm looking for out of the Alien franchise. But with this one, this was like everything I loved about the first two mixed together with like some of like the game, Alien Isolation. Fede Alvarez, I think, is one of the best horror directors working right now. That dude, he knows what he's doing, and like I love like the aesthetic of this movie, like the really like gritty, the dirty, lived in sci-fi feel that it has. That kind of goes back to the first movie. Like the like this, it feels so claustrophobic. There are scenes in this movie where like they're trapped in like these little like tunnels and these like really like small closed in hallways. It just makes me feel uncomfortable, and that's what I like about like the Alien franchise. And they go back to the practical effects with the xenomorphs and the face huggers and stuff, and I liked it a lot more the first time I watched it, but I rewatched it. There's some problems I kind of noticed. They kind of rely on too many callbacks to the first two, but I love the movie. Like it's Kaylee Spaney's great. David Johnson, I think, gave like one of the best performances of the year. He basically gets to play like two different characters in one, and he does a great job at both. And yeah, after that, I'll go Furiosa. I love this one a lot too. It like I love like the stylized like approach that Miller takes to like his action and stuff. Like it looks amazing. I know people complain about the CGI in the trailer, but like I thought it looked pretty good in the movie. And I think Anya Taylor-Joy gives like a really great performance considering she has like barely any dialogue in this movie. There's like a period where I don't think she says a word for like 30 minutes. But like I love Fury Road. Like that's one of my favorite action movies ever. And I think this is like a worthy prequel / follow-up to that. Like seeing like the world building, like seeing what this world is like, and like how certain things came to be, how Furiosa became who she is. I think it was a really good movie. After that, hold on, sorry. Fall Guy. I love. This is one of the funniest movies of the year for me. It's like Ryan Gosling just having like so much fun with it. Like it's like a like classic throwback like action movie, which I think we really don't get that much of anymore. Like it's not a super huge blockbuster, and I love its like how much it like loves filmmaking. Like the whole movie is about a movie kind of, and I like how it highlights like stunt people because some people really don't get talked about enough, like the amazing work that they do. Yeah, and I love how they kind of like weave that into
Give them an Oscar nomination, please.
Yes,
or category. I mean, a category.
I think they were talking about doing that. Not this year, but for next year's Oscars, like best stuff. I think they were talking about doing that. But yeah, I loved everything about Fall Guy. Great cast, super fun watch. Like, that's one of those I can rewatch a lot. I love David Leitch. He's really underrated.
Ryan Gosling has great chemistry with literally everyone too.
You can put anyone next to him and it just works. Yeah. I don't know.
He's so charming.
Where am I at? Bike Riders. I like Bike Riders a lot more than I thought I was going to. Because I thought it was gonna be like a typical biopic type thing, but it was a lot more than that, and that kind of surprised me. I think Austin Butler does a great job, but I think Jodie Comer, she is amazing in this movie. Like I was not expecting like that, like the accent that she has to do for the entire movie. I was like, bro, that is the most spot on Midwest accent I think I've ever heard in my life. And it's like, it's such a simple. Tom Hardy, phenomenal in this as well. It's like such a simple story. I didn't think I was going to be as interested in it as I was, because like it's like a story of like these bikers, and it's like, well, like I don't really care about that entire like world, but like it draws you in to how literally like these guys just want to do something because they were bored. They like motorcycles, and it became like this criminal organization it seems like overnight. It's such an interesting idea. I think it's really elevated by the actors. But to round out my top 5, I think that's where I'm at. Nosferatu, probably the most recent edition of this list. I saw it literally like last week, the day after Christmas. First off, love Robert Eggers. Love everything that guy's ever made. And this is one of his best. Like this, I'm not an easy person to like scare with horror movies. Like I've seen a lot of them, and most of the time they don't really I'm not really looking to be scared. I'm just looking for them as movies. But this, I wouldn't say it scared me. It definitely unsettled me. There's such a sinister feeling, like an old school gothic sinister feeling that this gives. The way the shots linger, the way even the architecture is filmed. Of course, it's Robert Eggers, so he's gonna have the old school dialect, the old English. But dude, Bill Skarsgård in this is creepy, dude. There is a scene where he's meeting Nicholas Holt's character for the first time, and they're just sitting at a table. And just his voice and his delivery is terrifying. Lily Rose Depp, though, she's she gives if it wasn't for another actress who I'm going to mention later that Noah already mentioned, she probably would be the runaway for me for she at least be considered for best actress. She has to do a lot of
Do you
crazy.
think she'll get nominated?
I think she did.
I hope she does.
I think she did.
Oscars don't do horror, really. They don't.
Yeah, they don't. But if they have to for this, and for another one I'm going to mention in a second.
She's so good.
This movie is phenomenal. Oh yeah, Willem Dafoe is great as always. Great everything. After that, I'd probably say
Is that your 5?
This is 4.
Oh well, now RJ said your honorable mentions.
Oh yeah, 5.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My honorable mentions. Number 10, I have Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Funny enough, I actually like this one a little bit more than Furiosa in some ways.
Really?
Yeah, in some ways I do. I feel like Chris Hemsworth really. I've always thought Chris Hemsworth was a fun actor, decent. He showed me some things in this movie. He showed off his range. He is really good at it. And there's this one scene with him and Anya Taylor-Joy towards the end of the film, and it's a 7-minute scene of them talking, and
oh yeah,
he's just beating him, and she wants revenge, and it's so good. I love the way this film looks. Yeah, it's if it wasn't for some other great movies, this would be in my top 5. Number 9, I would go Longlegs. This movie has gotten a lot of hate recently on film Twitter. I don't know why, but Nicolas Cage disappears into this role. He's really good. This is one of the most unsettling movies I have ever seen. It's kind of like a X-Files feel, but meets The Shining and some other horror films. And Nicolas Cage is really, really terrifying and creepy and just everything. Him and Bill Skarsgård, give yourselves a round of applause. You guys disappeared into your horror icon roles. Number 8, I'm gonna go Maxine. This is my favorite out of the Ty West trilogy. I like Pearl, but Maxine has a little bit more rewatchability for me. Not a big fan of X, but we'll talk about that for another video. But Mia Goth is amazing in this role. She doesn't get enough credit, but I love the vibe it's going for, the period piece. And my
Kevin
next
Bacon
one,
is
Kevin Bacon. I forgot about him. Giancarlo is really good. He's different in the movie. He's very, very different from his other roles.
That's a different role for him. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it is. Next, I'm gonna go Civil War. This also got a lot of hate. I don't know why, but I think people missed the point. This is one of those movies where people missed the point of it. I'm not gonna go into it, but people are learning the wrong things from this film. It's a touch on, journalism, and it touches upon how we glorify and we just take pictures. It's also really relevant, with society and how we live today, where our first instinct is to record and take a picture of a tragedy happening. Alex Garland, freaking amazing filmmaker. Give him the keys to the kingdom. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. Kaylee Spaney, this was awesome. Last year was the Kaylee Spaney takeover tour. I mean, she is amazing in this movie. Kirsten Dunst was amazing.
She was awesome. I think that's her best.
Yeah,
this was a long time.
And this was a loud movie. Saw it in Dolby.
Oh my! The gunshots are so loud.
Gunshots are crazy. Freaking the Jesse Plemons scene. Todd, as we know him. Freaking what kind of American are you? Dude,
What a
This is
scene.
this is Jesse Plemons here, man. Jesse Plemons is everywhere this year.
Yeah, what a scene that was. I mean, he was in that one scene and he stole the whole movie.
Yeah. And my number 6 is going to be Alien Romulus. I kind of agree with some of your points, Darius, about like some of the rewatchability. You rewatch it like a third or fourth time, it does kind of rely on like, you know, nostalgia a little bit in some scenes. But again, Kay Spain takeover tour, this Civil War, you know, she's terrific. David Johnson, I think he's going to have a career come up similar to Daniel Kaluuya. And everybody does a great job. Love that movie. That's my 6. And we'll do the top 5 like after like.
Well, you can do your 5, then we'll all go.
You fifth.
My 5th. This might surprise you, Darius. I'm gonna put The Substance. I really enjoyed this movie.
Not an easy movie to enjoy, but yeah.
You know what I mean. But yeah, it is. It's not easy to enjoy. But don't eat.
Yeah, you freak.
Margaret Qualley. She is really good. The cinematography is beautiful. I don't remember the filmmaker's name who made the movie, but I really enjoyed the film. Not a body horror guy, but this I would definitely rewatch this down the line when have someone else want to. But the themes that it touches upon, like insecurities, like aging, and like looks and all that stuff, it's a really like it tears at you, and it touches upon like a lot of like themes that people are uncomfortable talking about. It's good.
Yeah. All right. So for my 4, I have a movie called Snack Shack. Now, have you guys heard of this movie?
I just watched that. I just watched that. I love that movie. It's so good.
I heard it. I haven't seen it yet.
No marketing for this movie. I watched it months after it came out because it was on Amazon or Prime Video. No clue this movie came out. Didn't know anything about it. I watched it just because, like, all right, it's a new movie. Let's see. Fucking amazing, man.
Yeah, it's
another
really good.
I'm a sucker for coming of age movies, especially good ones like this one. My favorite movie last year was The Holdovers. Great coming of age movie. And I think this movie is another great coming of age movie. Casting all new people pretty much. These kids were amazing in this. Gabriel LaBelle, who plays Moose, awesome role. And then he played Lorne Michaels in Saturday Night movie. He's so funny. But he played Lorne Michaels later in the Saturday Night movie. I'll
rewatch it.
Yeah, I will too. He's got such a charisma about it. Like, he is hilarious. He's got great timing. He's awesome. I absolutely loved it. Also, Gail Bedeker's in it.
Yes, he is. He's good in it.
Wait, he's in this?
Yeah,
yes,
he's in it. Yeah.
The main character's dad.
You can't really recognize him. He looks a lot different, but it at first it kind of seems like a silly film. You don't know where it's going really, but it's just got such a charm to it. It makes you feel. It's about these kids who take over this snack shack in the summer at the pool, and it just makes you get those summer vibes when you were a kid. Especially this movie takes place in what, the 90s?
I think it was 91. I think.
Yeah. So like even when you were young, like obviously we didn't grow up in the 90s, but when you were young in the summer, you didn't really care about your phones or technology. You just cared about, going to the pool, hanging out with people. I remember going to these snack shacks, and like the kids who ran it kind of were like, thought they were like the shit because they're running the snack shack.
Yeah.
It just made me like get these like summer vibes as a kid, and I was so on board with it. And then there's a twist at the end, which is like kind of a dark twist, but it works. There's something that it works, and then these kids who are all unknown actors get these great performances with it. It's a very authentic movie. Like it knows exactly what it's about. It knows exactly what it should be, and it does that. But I think the best part was Gabriel LaBelle. He is actually I liked it better in this than Saturday Night. He stole the show, man. And he has a bright future ahead of him. But yeah, if you haven't seen this movie, it's on Prime Video.
I need to watch this. Yeah,
it's good, man.
It is really good.
Because I heard like people talk about it, and it was like I was trying to make it a point to watch every of these movie people were talking about like this year, but somehow like missed this one because there was like no marketing, there was nothing. I didn't hear it, and I just started
I
seeing
don't know
people
when
talking
it
about
even came out.
Funny thing, how I watched it, I saw like a short on YouTube. It was like a scene of like at the pool or whatever. I was like, what is the title of this? Like, I don't want to watch this. And I just watched it the other day. Like I think I watched it Thursday. I was like,
it's a really great coming of age movie. And
Yeah,
I love the vibe. It's another great, just tonally vibe movie with the 90s. And it's great. If you haven't watched it, please watch it. All right. Darius, your number 4?
My number 4 is a little movie called Challengers. All right.
Little movie.
Just a little bit of this movie is insane. Like, I went into it, like I saw the trailers, didn't really know what to expect out of it. It seemed, I don't know, it seemed like it had a lot going on. And it does.
Yeah.
But in like the best way possible. First off, Zendaya is phenomenal in this. I think she should have got a nod for this.
Yes.
And
you should.
like once you like take a step back and realize what this movie's actually like about, and like the way all these 3 different characters are completely messed up and are completely wrong for each other, and like this complicated relationship, you kind of appreciate it more because it's like watching a train wreck in slow motion, like how this entire thing is going. And the score is phenomenal.
Cool.
Like
Amazing.
One of my favorite scores of the entire year. Like especially for that final tennis match, dude. Oh my god, the camera work in the final tennis match. Everyone's phenomenal. I can't say enough. Like I rewatched it the other day for the first time, and I was worried I wasn't gonna like it as much on a rewatch, but like I pretty much do. It's pretty much the same. So yeah, just one of the 2 Zendaya movies I'm gonna have in my list. That's a little spoiler, but yeah, this is gonna be one I rewatch at least once or twice a year. Like it's such an interesting like study of like interpersonal like relationships and how like competition can kind of get in the way and muddy things up.
RJ, your number 4?
My number 4 is Dune Part 2. This movie, I feel like, as far as like the award season, it's kind of been under the radar for some reason. I know there's a lot of great, art house films that came out this year, but this movie Dune is, I don't want to say like it's the new Star Wars. No one, I think it's like people Star Wars, but like it could lead up to become like a big franchise. And this is the Dune books. Denis loved, I can't pronounce his last name, but he loved the books as a kid, and I love Austin Butler in this movie.
Oh yeah,
as Feyd-Rautha. It is really good. This is one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen. Timothée Chalamet is terrific. I love the speech scene, and this is the one shot of him like coming in the cave, and like all the people kind of like move and stuff, and he's got like the hood on, and it's kind of like a Messiah take. And I love how it touched upon like how far would you go to make a choice to become this, like, and you kind of, if and spoilers, when he kind of, Rebecca Ferguson's character who plays his mother, she's kind of the one pulling the strings here, and her performance is terrific, where they try to get the Fremen to believe in Paul and the philosophy, and they get one guy, and then it leads to others with Javier Bardem's character. And I love how it kind of touches upon religion. And, some might find that offensive and some might not, but it touches upon like, the belief system. And I feel like some of the themes in this film kind of like get overshadowed because like, the way the movie looks is kind of a blockbuster in a way, but everybody's good. Florence Pugh's amazing for the time that she's given. But my favorite actors in this movie was Austin Butler and Rebecca Ferguson, and Hans Zimmer cooked with the score as always.
Score, man. I hate the technicality that they can't be considered for best score because it's the same. It's too similar to the first. That sucks.
That's stupid too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're okay.
Are you done? Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, that was my 4. I realized what we were doing. We're going. Okay.
Yeah.
So my number 3, I have Challengers. Insane movie, and actually insane. I think the most intense movie of the year too, which I would have never assumed. I think every scene, every interaction with these characters has just some insane intensity for like what's their next move gonna be. Honestly, when I first came out of this movie, it's like I really liked it, but it was paced terribly. And then I watched it again. I'm like, no, it's actually paced brilliantly. And this is definitely a 2-watch movie at least.
Yeah,
because I think it's paced where all these different timelines and spread out in the movie. You got to watch it twice for sure to really get into it. But of course, Zendaya's performance, her best performance I think ever. She a side of her we've never seen, and she brings it this movie. I mean,
Yeah.
you hate her, yeah, but you can't take your eyes off her. In this movie
For obvious reasons.
for many, yeah. For, many reasons, but it's a movie that's about I don't want to say it's about sex, but a huge theme is about sex. It was pretty marketed around that kiss scene, but there's no sex in the movie.
Nope. It's all
but
subtext.
People have said this before. I'm not saying this for certain. The sex is in the tennis, which I think was so well done. Because I think you can really, for a lot of sports, it's really intimate. You can like kind of compare it to sex. And I think that the movie did that very well without making it weird, without even like pushing it in your face. Like it was all leading to this one conclusion, which was the big tennis match at the end, which is a lot of tension there, a lot of sexual tension, a lot of any type of tension. And I think they did that really well. All the performances, though, the 3 of them, they knew exactly what to do. I think perfect casting from all 3. They all had great chemistry with each other. Yeah, this movie was a roller coaster ride. The score, best score of the year, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, I really love this movie. I do. I think it's so fun. It's so intense. There's so many different ways you can see it. There's so many like different sides of whose side you're on. You know, who's in the right, who's in the wrong. Everyone interprets it differently. I love when a movie can do that. There's no like, it's not telling you who's in the right, who's in the wrong. No, it's up for your interpretation. Yeah, like I said, Zendaya's great. Yeah, that's my number 3.
So my number 3 is, it was on RJ's list already, The Substance. This movie is disgusting. Like, it is one of the most disgusting movies I've ever watched. Like, there are points in this movie where like I couldn't look at the screen. RJ knows. I'm just gonna say it. Chicken Bone. I couldn't watch that. But it's like, it's not just that. It's not just gross out like, oh yeah, look at this disgusting thing. Like it's way deeper than that. And that's why I love this movie. Like, I think first off, Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley are phenomenal. But Demi Moore especially, like the heart of this movie, like it's trying to say about how like Hollywood like discriminates based on age and how it casts like actors out when they get older, especially women like actresses when they get older, and they just cast them aside for the next young actress. Like that stuff is super like it resonates strongly. And then there's like a scene in particular where Demi Moore like breaks down. Like she's about to go out and do something, and she's looking in the mirror, and she just can't, like, she's putting on makeup over and over and over and over, and it really makes you stop and think about like what the beauty standards that like not just Hollywood but like society puts on women and really everybody, and what that can do to like a person's psyche. And like throughout the movie, like you root for Demi Moore's character because you feel bad for her, but also like you kind of root against her because she's bringing this on herself. Like she's literally doing this to herself, and like this vain attempt to like recapture those younger days. And that's kind of what the movie is saying, is like we destroy ourselves. A lot of people destroy themselves trying to like hold on to their youth, and they get overcome by all that vanity and stuff like that. And I think that's like a really beautiful message, and it's a really like messed up and disgusting package. Like it's some of the best body horror I've seen since Cronenberg, since he did like The Fly, which is like the body horror movie. Like this was such a huge surprise. It kind of came out of nowhere. Like I had heard about it, and I kind of thought it was gonna be like one of those like cool horror movies with like a cool premise that was kind of whatever. But this is amazing script, amazing performance from Demi Moore. I think she should get a nod for that. Like that was great. And yeah, I just loved pretty much everything about this movie. The ending is insane. The ending, oh my god, dude.
Oh, remember I watched it and you heard.
Yeah,
like,
I called him when he was watching the end.
right.
But he sat there in silence.
Well, there was one scene. There's some funny moments in the movie too. Like
It's very funny.
they're there. There's one scene with the neighbor, right? And he comes and he knocks on the door. And he's like, I saw you on TV. And he's like, he turns around and he starts singing the song. Like, and I'm like, in the way he turns around and he does that. Oh, it cracked me up every time I watch that.
So Dennis Quaid's in this and he's great. He's
that shrimp eating scene, Jesus Christ!
Jesus.
I'm glad Dennis Quaid is not doing just a dad movie. It seems like that's all he does now.
I wasn't expecting to see him because he did. He was in Reagan this year. It was like no one saw that.
Oh, that was shit. That was really bad. And you know what? My dad loved it, so it's just proving it's a dad movie. Most dads love it. Yeah.
My number 3 is Nosferatu. Robert Eggers is coming like one of my favorite directors. This movie, like Darius said, that scene where him and Nicholas Holt's character are just talking, and that's one of the scariest scenes. And the way the use of sound design in this movie was really good. And
his voice is
presence,
so booming.
Yeah, and the way presence that Bill Skarsgård has as Count Orlok, and just terrifying. They actually used wolves, real wolves in this scene in this movie. They used like rats. Yes, there's a scene where like Nicholas Hoult is getting chased by wolves, and they actually used real wolves, but they were on leashes and stuff.
Yeah, I hope so.
I heard that today. I don't even know if that's true or not, but I do know the rats part. There's like a scene with like a bunch of rats, and they actually use real rats and stuff. But Lily Rose Depp, you can't say she's a nepo kid. She's got talent. She's got talent. She's a talented actress. She's gonna have a great career. But I think this is the best edited Robert Eggers film out of like The Witch, The Lighthouse, The Northman. This is like the best edited movie. The cinematography and just the world that he built is very dark and bleak, and like you just have like this character and Count Orlok. He's just terrorizing this town and this couple, and you know, Lily Rose Depp, she had to do some things in this movie. She should get an Oscar nom. Like if she doesn't get an Oscar nom, the committee, the Academy is
hating on. If this movie gets nothing, like they're just hating on horror. Like this is the horror movie that gets. Like this is the most art house horror movie like of the year, and probably like of the last couple of years. Like if there's gonna get, if any of one of these is gonna get something, it's this one.
But I feel like Robert Eggers, this is the movie that puts him in that spotlight. Like this is his, I don't want to say Dark Knight, but like this is like his Batman Begins to like Goodfellas or whatever. Like this is the movie that's gonna get people to like come see his movies over and over again. I think this is like so far this movie is making the most money so far. Like tracking is going to track to make his like the most money and stuff. But he's a terrific director. This is like his best edited movie by far, at least in my opinion.
All right, so now we're in our top 2. So for my second favorite movie of the year, I have Sing Sing. First, I just got to say, Coleman Domingo, I think, is one of the best working actors today. I think even if he's in a bad movie, there's no doubt his performance you'll remember, and you'll think he's just, there's something about him. Like he seems like a really good guy in real life, and you can see that in his role. You just feel like, I don't know, you kind of seem like he's your friend. You know, he just kind of has a nice charmness to him and this realness to him that is definitely in this movie, where he's kind of like the leader of the group and everyone looks to him for advice. And and what to do, and you can definitely feel that. And it's just so impressive about this movie that pretty much all the other characters in this movie are not professional actors. They're not played by professional actors. But it's just, now I can't see this movie being as good if it was played by professional actors. There's this realness and rawness that it just, the movie takes place in a prison, and it still feels like such a safe place, though. This group of men who are all in prison. It seems like you would want to hang out with this group in this area. It's in a prison. It's very clear they're in a prison, but it doesn't feel like it's in a prison. Which I think was kind of what the movie was going for, what they wanted to make it feel. And I think they did that really well. Freaking, what's his name? The guy, this is Clarence Macklin, who plays himself. I think give him this Oscar nom. One of the best performances of the year. Yeah, I don't even know. It's all of these supporting, all these guys. The teacher. I don't think he's like I don't think he's had some acting experience, but still he's very new. It's an ensemble, but it's very different. It feels so real. It doesn't feel like a movie sometimes. It's very, it makes you feel like you're there with these guys, and I think it has to do with they're not professional actors. I also think this movie is not, the cinematography of this movie is not being talked about enough. I think it was shot very well, and because of that, it made you feel like I said, because it's in a prison, it doesn't really feel like a prison. I think that's thanks to the cinematography. It made you feel like it was a safe space. But yeah, I'm glad I finally got to see this movie because it wasn't in theaters for long for me. I had to wait till it was on digital. But it made me cry. It made me feel a lot for this movie. Colman Domingo, I hope he gets nominated. He is my front runner, in my opinion, for Best Actor. Because of all those reasons I said. But this whole movie, I think everyone should watch. It has a lot to say also about the system without also pushing in your face. I think it did that really well. There's a really good scene with Colman Domingo when he's trying to get out because he's wrongfully accused. And it's a real life story too. This is a real life story.
Yeah.
But yeah, a very raw, genuine movie. And I think we don't get a lot of that these days. Especially because a lot of these movies just want to cast the big A-listers. And this is the complete opposite besides Colman Domingo. So yeah, this is my runner-up for my favorite movie of the year. Darius?
Yeah, I mean, I have the same thing. I also have Sing Sing It too. And this movie, I went into it like knowing the premise of it, but like other than that, completely blind. I caught it. I was lucky enough to catch it with a couple friends at Independent Picture House near my college, and like just to echo Noah's sentiments, like the like all the non-actors in this movie, you would not know that they have never acted before. Like,
yeah,
they are amazing, and it's like a lot of that's also because I think they're committed to it being just real, and I think a lot of them. I was watching Colman Domingo talk about it. He said a lot of it's because they didn't view it as acting; they viewed it as them playing themselves, and I think like that really gets across. Like, and I like that it's a movie about like people that are in prison, but it doesn't do the typical like jail movie like low hanging fruit jokes. Like you all know, we know the jokes that they do about like they show these guys as human beings with like emotions and wants and fears and regrets and everything. They're not just treating them like the scum of society, no matter what they might have done to get themselves there or what might have happened. Like, and I really respect that. And Colman Domingo is fantastic, and like he has like such a warm, like charismatic, like before he's trying so hard to help these guys and like trying to like find an outlet for like all the stuff that they're going through. And he's trying to like help them navigate like this really tough situation while he's like stuck there wrongfully. And you feel so bad for him because like once you figure out what his story is, and like he has this great scene where he breaks down like and it's just like it's heartbreaking, dude. Like you like the reality that he might never get out of here, and it's tough to watch.
Yeah.
And again, Clarence Macklin, like that, he is phenomenal in this. Like, I don't know if he's gonna pursue acting anymore after this movie, but he definitely should. Like, he's he's fantastic in it. He should be nominated for sure. Like the kind of the heart of the movie is the relationship between him and Coleman Domingo's character. Like anytime those two are on screen together, like it elevates like an already excellent movie to like amazing. Like it's phenomenal. And I like the I can't remember who plays the acting coach, but he's great too. He's really funny.
Yeah, I got it. Paul Raci?
Yeah, I like him a lot. Like this whole movie's full of like likable characters. Like you like all of them and you want to see them succeed in what they're trying to do, like the play they're trying to put on. You want to see them like succeed in their lives, whatever form that takes when they get out, or even within like the jail, like having good like it's basically what the Holdovers was for last year for this, which is really weird comparison because it's like
they're different
school and now jail, but it's like I didn't expect to care about a group of prisoners like this, which is messed up to say, but like this is I think what people should kind of view some of the real life prisoners more like these people may not even belong in jail to begin with, and they're still people with emotions and lives and stuff, and it's a really beautiful movie. I love everything about it.
Would you guys say it's like no, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying I gotta say one thing because you made me remind me of it. I love how because you said it's not like a basic prisoner movie, and these guys on this movie they do plays, and there's no like what you think would be these are big masculine guys who are like, oh, I'm not doing a play, that's not manly. No, they want it to. They embrace it right away, which I think when you're in prison, what else? Like, if you have this opportunity, you're not going to be like, no, I'm too masculine for this. I think that was just really cool how they do that. I wasn't expecting that. If I knew the plot of the movie before, I'd be like, oh, it's going to be like, they're not going to want to do it. They'll eventually do it. They'll all come together, make a great play. No, right from the start, they've been doing plays.
They all commit to it.
They love it, yeah.
And it's super cool to see like these guys come together and do something like it. I don't know. I could talk about this movie for hours. It's just so good.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say like, does it kind of have like that Just Mercy feel to it a little bit? Because you said like because I haven't seen the film. Because you said like the character like he doesn't know if he's gonna get out, and Just Mercy was kind of based on a true story about like
a lot less courtroom because there's not
it's pretty much entirely like in the prison. It's like it's more like about like the prisoners like themselves, and like there's like a few scenes where it's like outside, but yeah,
there's not really a lot about them getting out. Coleman Domingo and the what's his name, Clarence Macklin. They're mostly like, but it's not really a big part of the movie.
It goes into like the appeals process and like that sort of stuff. Like that's like the most like Coleman Domingo is basically like his own lawyer in the movie. Like he's basically trying to like represent himself and get himself out. Like
there's one scene like that where he has a statement on why but that's it. And it didn't need to really. Like that's not the draw of it.
Yeah.
You would definitely like it, RJ. Like for sure.
All right. Yeah, all right. I'll watch it. It's my turn. My number 2, this might cause for a debate. Number 2 is Anora. I love it. I love this movie. I didn't no, because a lot of people are having it as a number 1, so that's why.
I did it 5.
Yeah, that's right, you did. But I love this movie. I didn't expect to like, even when like Darius, you told me to watch it, I didn't expect to like really like it as much, but it's the way it takes you on this ride of like you think you're getting like a Cinderella story, and then like it just takes a turn when we're like heading into the middle, and like the Godfather comes in, and family stuff comes in. They're trying to find, I can't remember the characters' names. I'm blanking on it, but
it was Ivan, right?
Ivan, yeah. They're trying to find Ivan, and there's some funny stuff that happens. This movie is, like you said, no, it's freaking hilarious. I haven't watched. This is my first Sean Baker film that I've watched.
Really,
Florida Project's really good.
Yeah, is it Defoe in that?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's him. Yeah.
And the way it's very, very indie, and I love that indie film with movies and stuff. But it was really, really good. And Mikey Madison, give her that Oscar. It's tough, but give her that Oscar.
Yeah.
But this movie was really good, and it touches upon like certain, how women have certain jobs, and they think when they have those jobs, they think that that's all that they are and stuff. And if you see the movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They think that they're not worth anything, and then when she meets when a dude, I forgot his name, but he was really good in the movie too. I forgot his name.
Igor. Yeah.
Yes,
Igor.
He was the man, dude. I freaking love Igor. He's great.
Amazing.
Especially that last scene.
Yes.
Last two scenes. Yeah.
And when you get a guy like Igor that thinks that Mikey Madison's character is more than her job and more than how other people see her, and like she's actually seen, and then that scene where she's breaking down, crying and stuff, like that just made me tear up because I was like, damn, like this movie has everything. It's got romance, it's got a lot of heart, it's freaking funny, it's got comedy, like it's got everything.
Yeah.
That's my number 2.
Crazy movie. Yeah. I only had it at 5 because I just think I love it. I just think these ones are a little bit better for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, my number 1 is A Real Pain, which I actually saw the other day. So I had a feeling this was going to be my favorite. This is honestly a really personal movie for me. If you don't know, it's these 2 cousins who were close as kids, and they kind of split up, and they're Jewish guys, and their grandmother just died, and they're going to Poland because that was like her wish for them to go see her home and what she grew up with during the Holocaust. And this previous year in 2024, I'm Jewish, and I went to Poland on a trip with a group of people, and just one of an experience that like can't even put to words. I felt all these different emotions during that trip. I cried. I did all this stuff just walking into the room, and I think the movie A Real Pain, that's what I felt when I went to Poland. A real pain. And I think the movie did such a good job of, I'm not going to say when I watched this movie, I felt the same exact feelings that I did when I was there, but definitely elements, which made me cry because I was just like, wow. And I think this movie did such a great job of, it's with a group of people and how differently everyone acted to this trip, even if you're Jewish or not. It's like one of the most devastating moments in the entire world, the Holocaust. And I remember going with a bunch of people on the trip. Everyone reacted differently. Everyone reacted in their own way. I'm not saying there's a right way or wrong way. Everyone reacted differently. And the movie did such a good job of portraying that. It's a really realistic movie. But also in saying that, it's a comedy. It's a really funny movie. I'm like, how are you going to balance this? So how are you going to balance it and not make it like way one over the other? Like the Holocaust and a comedy and visiting that, but they made it work. And I think Jesse Eisenberg, this was his breakout as a director. He's directed some other things that I've seen I wasn't a fan of. This movie, absolutely, he killed it. The vibe, the tone.
He did it all for this. He wrote it too, didn't he?
Yeah, he wrote it. He casted it. Everyone, like he killed it. He put his heart and soul into it, and you can tell. And also, people are not mentioning enough his performance in this movie. Kieran Culkin, which I'll get to, everyone's talking about him.
Roman,
but Jesse Eisenberg, I think he has the best scene of the whole movie, which I won't spoil. It's at a dinner table, and it's a big monologue, which he also shot really well. I think that's the best scene in the movie, and we haven't seen him in a role like this. He's very much playing like an exaggerated version of himself. And I think same with Kieran Culkin. And I think they did that really well. But also Kieran Culkin, like always, steals the show.
Fabulous.
He steals the show. Not only is he just freaking hilarious, like he's got such a wit that's like unlike any other actor ever. He's got such. If you've watched Succession, and you know exactly how he is. It's very similar to Roman with his delivery, and what he says. But also, you just get annoyed by his character so much. You're supposed to like Jesse Eisenberg. He just gets annoyed by him because he's so out there, and he says a lot of stuff that shouldn't be said, and he's annoying, and he doesn't act right at the right time. But you also can't help but feel for this guy, and I think that's all in Kieran Culkin's performance. There's a warmness to him,
Dude,
below all the annoyingness shit that he did, and then you the stuff you learn about his character in this movie, and it all makes sense. And Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin's chemistry in this movie is really good. They had a great banter back and forth. They had great emotional moments. This is a very personal movie for me. And I think he did it. It's an awesome movie. I think it's a perfect movie. I wish it was a little longer. It's a really short movie. It's an hour and a half, a little over an hour and a half. But it's one of those movies you just wish it never ended. Like, I think they could have made it, like, honestly, another hour, and it still would have been good. But yeah, that was my favorite movie of the year. A real fan.
Yeah, my number one for the year is Anora. It's a basic pick. It's what a lot of people are going to pick, but there's just like so much I love about this movie. It's such a simple concept. Like on its base, it's a Cinderella story, like a rags to riches type thing, but like it's not that at the same time. It's such a simple concept, just executed to like perfection. Like first of all, Mikey Madison, the obvious side of the way, she should win Best Actress. Like she is like commanding and like confident, but also super funny. Like her delivery is hilarious in this movie, but she's also like really vulnerable when she needs to be, which I think is like a really hard balance to strike. And she does like all that sometimes kind of at the same time, which is insane. The guy, I can't remember his name. I just looked it up. Like the guy who plays Igor, like he doesn't have a lot of dialogue in this movie, but like
he's funny.
It's so like his body language is so fun. Like, he's so funny at times, but you can tell he's just a great dude. Like
You're a Borzo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's looking out for the whole time. And you can just see it in like his body language, like the way he like holds his eye contact and stuff. Like it's one of the funniest movies of the year. Like everything after like the scene in the church where the priest is like he gets the call and he's holding the baby and he's like he's gonna do a baptism. He's like, I gotta go. Like everything after that, that's when the movie takes like a turn to the left field for like the better, dude. Like everything after that scene where they come over to the house, it's just like funny.
Chaos,
insanity. Like everyone's delivery is hilarious. The accents are great. And like I said, it's just like RJ was saying, like what Mikey Madison's character, like what it's saying about like sex workers and like how people basically define them by their bodies and the services they offer and how they kind of don't think there's any way out of whatever situation that they're in without like the work that they do and like how they're dehumanized and like how they have these fantasies of this guy, like these people that will like see what they're going through and take them away with all this money and all that stuff. Like how terrible that is and like how they don't know how to react. They might not know how to react when somebody actually offers some kindness because they've never been given like that unconditional kindness, like that when someone's kind to them, it's because they want something from them instead of seeing them as a person. And then when someone finally sees them as a person, they don't know how to deal with that because it's never been a thing for them. I think that was like a really beautiful like message. And like this movie makes you feel so many things. Like you feel like it's hilarious, so you're laughing the whole time. It's like kind of comes like a road trip movie for a little bit where they're looking for Ivan for a while. Like you're having fun when they're like living it up, going to Vegas and stuff like that. But also like it hits you like a truck when towards the end when it's like she didn't really care that much about her. This was all when you meet his parents, they're terrible. The mom was I hated her so much.
Yeah. And she was only in like the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. and then you get Igor, like when she doesn't have anyone, he's there for her and he's like willing to hear her out and he sees her as a person. Like you just feel for her. And it's a really hard thing to accomplish in a movie like this because you just think it's going to be just the basic Cinderella story with a bunch of sex scenes in it, and that's not what it is at all. So yeah,
I love the end where Igor says that he thinks Ivan owes Anora an apology, and like that was he was like, I think you want her apology. I love that scene.
That's such a good dude. It's
He
so
had
good.
such a softness about him. Like,
Yeah.
He's like this huge. It's like this huge dude, and like the scene where he's like holding her down.
Yeah.
He ties her up.
it's like you're waiting for this big reveal about him because he has this softness about him the whole movie. He doesn't seem like the job he has, which I guess is the time of the movie.
My number one is Challengers. I adore this movie. When I first saw it, I saw it at an early screening, and even like the crowd was really good, and I didn't expect that. Like,
Oh yeah,
this movie. I'm a big fan of films that the score is a character in itself.
yeah,
And the way the score is like I think someone described it, the score is like a tennis match itself. And you see that with the scene with Josh O'Connor and Zendaya, where they're in one of their rooms and they're arguing and it's going back and forth. Like the camera's panning to Zendaya, it's panning to Josh, and it's just back and forth. And he treats it like that. And it's very back and forth. It's not for everybody the way the story is written, how they have one scene where it's jump in the past or the present and in the future, whatever. And Zendaya is probably my favorite actress. She kills this role, and I feel like she's not getting enough attention with this role because it's out of her comfort zone a little in a way. Some might argue Euphoria, but she's never done something like this. Like she is kind of a villain. Like she is a villain in the movie.
she is.
And Josh O'Connor and Mike Face, they're phenomenal. They're both are gonna go to extreme heights in their careers. But Luca Guadagnino, Luca Guadagnino, he's a really good director. I like Bones and All. Call Me by Your Name is a really good movie, but the editing in this movie is top notch. And these three people, it's kind of like Succession in a way where like they're horrible people. Like all three of them are not good. Like I think you could argue,
especially they're not good for each other at all. They're all bad for they're terrible.
You can argue that Zendaya is like her character is the worst out of the three. Like she is not a good person in the movie, and it's the cinematography is really good, and just the tennis matches are crazy with the ball like going back and forth, and like the camera was on the ball at one point. And I love Trent Reznor. I'm a big fan of his. Nine Inch Nails, great band. Like I've been advocate for him. He's an amazing composer, and I love that he's doing it. Like he worked with like Social Network, David Fincher. He's worked on a couple of his films, but this is his best score. My favorite score of his. Like Challenger score, freaking amazing. I hope that gets nominated at the Oscars. If it doesn't, that's a crime.
Oh, that might win.
Yeah, I think it should, but
with
number one,
the race,
Challenger for me.
Yeah. So yeah, there we have it. Those are our top 5 most honorable mentions of the year. I have a question for you guys. Do you guys have any like 10 out of 10, 5 out of 10 movies this year?
I think Anora is a 10 out of 10.
I think so too.
I think it's like a 10.
I gave it a 9.5.
Yeah,
I didn't have any perfect movies this year.
You didn't have
even a real pain. I gave a 9.5 because I just wish.
Nora's my 110. I don't think there's any other ones that are quite.
I think it's 110.
Yeah. Because I think the thing about this year was there was a lot of good movies, but it was all at the end of the year. It felt like it's just
we had Dune, and then like there was like nothing for a while.
Dune, right? And then the summer
Dune carried the first half of the year. We had Dune and Civil War. That was like the 2 at the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
and then like
it just seemed like it was so overwhelming. Like we were talking about this, like there's so many movies I need to watch.
Yeah, I missed them. Like I missed The Apprentice because like The Apprentice came out like at a terrible. Like there was like so many movies out of that time.
We still have to see The Brutalist because
The Brutalist you can't watch it.
Release it.
You can't watch it anymore.
Yeah, they won't fucking release it. Like that was a problem with so many of these movies for me.
September 5, I think, is another one.
That one I forgot to watch.
Yeah. Where is it?
Yeah, I don't know why.
So yeah, I don't know why we've talked about this forever now. Why the theaters don't release these big movies out for a while? Not these more independent.
Yeah, they'll be like done for like a year, and then they'll release them in theaters for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then disappear. If you don't catch it,
I couldn't tell you when Sing Sing was released. because I didn't see
Yeah.
any
Aren't they
marketing.
re-releasing that too?
They are.
Yeah,
I did
January
see that.
17th. Yeah.
It's about time. I will go see that if it's showing near me.
Only reason they are because it's in the Oscar, right? Because it's in the
Yeah,
Oscar race.
exactly. But yeah, 2025 though, I think it's gonna be a lot bigger for movies. I think we don't know a lot of the art house movies going into this year. But yeah, now
just kind of pop up at festivals. Yeah,
exactly. Whenever I do my list for my most anticipated for the next year, most of these movies never end up in my top 10 because I don't know about the art house movies.
Because you just hear about festival buzz and like people love it, and then you go watch. Yeah, that's
exactly. Yeah, and they always come out at the end of the year.
Yeah,
most of them. But yeah, now that's our transition to our most anticipated movies of 2025. RJ, do you want to start out?
I'll start. So we're going like 10 through 1, or we're just doing 5.
You can just list the movie. Yeah.
All right.
I think we all have the same one, right?
The same number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, we could do like rapid fire, like 10 through, like I could do 10 through 5, like rapid. I won't like stay on them, and then okay. So my number 10 is Thunderbolts. It's kind of like Marvel's Suicide Squad. It's one of the Marvel movies this year that I'm really hoping that I have a lot of confidence in. Different vibe, kind of out of Marvel's comfort zone in a way. But I'm really looking forward to that. Anything with Florence Pugh. Number 9, this is going to surprise Noah. Well, not surprise him, but it's going to raise some questions. Mickey 17. I know you are not really looking forward.
I know why
to
you do. Bong
Joon-ho.
Parasite, man.
Parasite, and I love Robert Pattinson. One of my favorite actors working today. If you compare director of Parasite to Robert Pattinson, I'm in. It's going to be my top 10. So, I mean, trailers, I know me and you are talking about this.
That trailer just really pulled me out of it.
But I don't know much about the book, but I'm intrigued. Like, let's see where it goes. Number 8, I'm going to go Knives Out 3. After the takeover of Kaylee Spaney last year, I will put any movie in my top 10 of hers. It's got Ryan Johnson. He's back. Daniel Craig. One of his best roles of his entire career, like this James Bond, like 1A and 1B. Like you pick your poison. Like he is really good in that role. Number 7, me and Darius is one of our favorite directors. Is Edgar Wright. His remake of The Running Man. Glenn Powell, who also became one of my favorite actors last year. With the Hitman. He sold me because I thought he was, okay, decent, kind of like that jock kind of actor, but he showed me something in Hitman, and him and Edgar Wright working together. I'm really, really looking forward to that. Edgar Wright has been a overshadowed director because there's so many directors, but he is, the way he edits his movies are just amazing. Scott Pilgrim, Baby Driver. I think we're gonna get a Baby Driver feel to this movie. But
I hope so, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Him and Glenn Powell, I think they're gonna freaking kill it. Number 6 is 28 Years Later.
Yes, sir.
Big 28 Days Later fan. I love that. Cillian Murphy's back. I believe Danny Boyle's back. I think he's back. He's directing it. I think so. Yeah, so that's going to be that. I cannot wait for that. I think it comes out in June. That's one of the best trailers I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah.
That was really good. And I wanted to see more zombie apocalypse, movies kind of make a comeback and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that one. So that's my 6, and we'll do like the top 5 after
Yeah.
You go ahead, Noah.
You go. Okay.
Yeah, you go.
So 10, I have the Fantastic Four First Steps.
Okay.
Excited, but also very worried, if I'm being real. Fantastic Four is always a group that they seem to not get right live action. I know it's now the MCU. It's now in a universe, and the cast looks really good, but I don't know. I'm still a little hesitant. I like the 60s vibe. I like the 60s vibes that they're going to. I like it's a totally different MCU movie. And I think Matt Shakman is a good director for this movie. Pedro Pascal, not sold on. I think it's a little bit of a popularity contest. That's how I see it. He still could kill it, but I want to be proven.
We had a conversation about that.
Yeah, I want to be proven wrong. I'm hoping
We've
I'm
had
wrong.
multiple conversations about this.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. Especially Jacob.
Next, I have Marty Supreme. It's a ping pong movie, which is one of my favorite activities ever, favorite sports ever. Yes, it is a sport.
I forgot
Timothy
about
Chalamet.
I forgot to put it on my list.
Well, there you go. Timothy Chalamet, he's on an insane run right now, so he's killing it. He's killing it. It's a period piece in New York. It's gonna be great. Tyler, the Creator's in it. One of my favorite artists.
That is, that's the movie.
Yeah. We'll see how he can act. I bet he can act. Like
he can.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to see that actually. And then I have Michael, which is the Michael Jackson biopic. I'm not a huge musical biopic guy, but you got Michael Jackson's nephew playing him, who has played him in the musical Broadway. And if you know Michael Jackson, even a little bit about him, you know his life deserves a fucking movie.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah, he had a crazy life. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really curious how they're gonna make this movie because he's had I don't know how to say it, a very different parts of his life that are totally different from the last part of his life. He even looks really different. So I'm interested how they're gonna do that. But also I'm just mostly
it's gotta be
I'm
long.
mostly yeah, it's gonna be long. Yeah, it should be long. I'm mostly excited to see just jam out to MJ in the theater.
I mean, yeah, that's.
And then was that one? And then I had 28 days later. That trailer sold me over. Fucking crazy. One of the best trailers ever. I don't know too much about this movie, but Cillian Murphy, you already know. Was that my six? Let me see. Okay, then was that? All right, I think that was my 6 or 5.
Sure.
4. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So my number 10, Nobody 2. I really liked the first one.
Yeah.
Love Bob Odenkirk.
That is coming up.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Bob Odenkirk, baby.
And like I think he outside of Better Call Saul, like I think he deserves more. I'm surprised he's not been in more things. But
that's
like,
a lot of the Breaking Bad
actors.
actors.
Yeah, a lot of Breaking Bad actors really don't get as much work as you think they would, which is kind of strange to me. But
Aaron Paul, man.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. 9 is a movie called The Monkey that comes out in like a few weeks. The reason I'm interested in this is because it's a horror movie and it's based on a Stephen King short story, and it's done by Osgood Perkins, who just came off of Long Legs. This is his first movie since Long Legs, and it looks pretty insane. All we know, like if you watch the trailers, a bunch of people dying in violent ways, and there is a monkey, like one of those monkeys with like the symbols, and that's really all you know about it. So it looks wild, and like after Long Legs, I'm pretty much gonna watch anything Osgood Perkins does, and Stephen King adaptations. I mean, they're hit or miss, but when they hit, they really hit. So looking forward to that one. The next one is Frankenstein. This is by Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
And like everything I've heard about this movie, I'm definitely interested. Like I remember reading the original, like the book in high school, and I remember liking it a lot. And we're kind of like in this weird time where like a lot of the Universal monsters are kind of coming back. Like we had Nosferatu this year, Invisible Man a couple years ago. So kind of having a renaissance of the Universal monsters, and I love like those old like B movies. So it's kind of cool. And like I'll watch anything Guillermo del Toro does. Like that dude, another horror icon. Like he has a very distinct style that I really like. Next, let's see. Next I had The Running Man, Edgar Wright, one of my favorite directors of all time. We'll watch anything that he does. Like Baby Driver was one of my favorite films of all time. Scott Pilgrim, Shaun of the Dead. Like I love even Last Night in Soho. I liked a lot more than a lot of people did.
Yeah, I like that.
That like I'm looking forward to it. I don't know much about it. I know I think it's a remake of another movie or something.
It is, yeah.
Which is interesting. But yeah. Next I have Thunderbolts. I didn't really know what to expect from this movie, and then like the trailers came out and it kind of sold me. on it. Like it seems like it has like a distinct style, which I think is kind of what's lacking in the MCU a lot these days. Like it doesn't feel like the typical like Marvel safe corporate movie. And I really like the cast here. Like obviously, like Florence Pugh is amazing and everything. But Sebastian Stan, after the year he just had, like it's good to have him back as Bucky after we like seen his range. David Harbour is David Harbour. I mean, he's fun to watch. But Wyatt Russell, I think, is really good as Walker. I think Walker is one of the best new characters in the MCU, and I'm interested to see how like this cast works. And then even can't remember his name as Bob. He was in Top Gun. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
It was Pullman. He's
yeah.
I saw him in Top Gun, and I saw him in something else after that. I can't remember what it was though. He's really good. I'm interested to see who he does because like I think we all know who Bob actually is supposed to be in the movie. Like it's not a surprise.
They're not even hiding it.
Yeah, we know who he is. After that, let me see. What is that? Am I at 7?
So
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think you're right. He said Thunder.
Mickey 17.
Yeah.
Listen, the trailer, I liked it, but I'm mostly going off of like Bong Joon-ho. Like Parasite is an amazing film, and I love the cast a lot. Like you got Steve Yeun, you got Robert Pattinson. Like I'm interested to see what this thing, and I like the whole concept of like dying and coming back and dying and coming back. It seems like it's gonna be like a real fun ride, and I'm here for that.
That movie sucks. We ain't gonna hear the end of it from this.
I need this to be good, bro.
Please be.
I'm hoping it sucks. I'm just
No, I know you're not. I know you're not.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm not gonna lie.
It's just funny how, like, when I told you I was excited for you, like, you're excited for this? I was like, it's gonna be good.
And then next up, 28 years later, I love the first one. The second one, I have fun with it. It's a step down, but it's like with this, like Cillian Murphy's back. The trailer like is phenomenal. One of the best trailers I've ever watched. Like no exaggeration. Like the whole zombie thing is in danger of getting really played out and kind of not exciting anymore. But like I like what's been done like in the last few years. Like you had Last of Us kind of reinvent it. And this kind of seems like it's going to take like a more like gritty approach. Cinematography looks amazing. So yeah, I think I think I'm all caught up now.
RJ, you're 5.
Okay. So you want to like just do like 1 through 5, and then everybody, or
just
do like
5
1 by 1?
All right.
Should we do 5 and then we're all of them? I think we should just do the same like we just did. You go 5.
Yeah.
5.
Okay, yeah. 5 is Fantastic Four. I'm a big comics guy.
First
we all
step.
are. Yeah, first.
Got the first step.
I
I
don't
hate that.
like the subtitle, but I'm a big comics guy. We all are. After Spider-Man and Batman, those are my top 2. It's Fantastic Four. After I love the first family, I love the comics. It's a shame that the movies in the past haven't been good. Silver Surfer, it's not good, but I'm a sucker for it a little bit. I like the Silver Surfer character, but
He's sick.
this is different for Marvel. This is a test for Marvel. It feels like this is a director-driven film for Marvel and Marvel Studios. Max Shackman. You know, he's directed one of the best episodes for like your favorite TV shows, like Breaking Bad, The Boys.
He's directed like every show of all time.
Yeah,
He
like
did
he's.
Succession, right?
I think so. I think he did.
Yeah.
But
He did Game of Thrones. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like he's doing everything.
it seems like his touch is all over this film. Like he's got some sauce cooking. Like I like the 60s vibe that they're going for, like the Jetsons. I love that. I know the cast isn't the best to people's likings, but I personally like it. I like Evan from Evan Moss from The Bear. I think that's a perfect casting.
He's perfect for Ben.
Vanessa Kirby as Sue. I love this for her. This is her big break. She's going to take off after this movie. Joseph Quinn is freaking killing it. Like after Stranger Things, got hired. He got hired to be in a Ridley Scott movie, Gladiator 2. I feel like he was underutilized, but whatever. And now he's Johnny Storm. He's going to have fun with this role. I feel like he's going to kill it. I don't know why there's a lot of doubters, but he's one of the best actors to come out of Stranger Things. And no matter how you feel about him as Eddie, clearly people love him. Directors, like, if you get on Ridley Scott's radar, you're doing something right. Pedro, I like Pedro Pascal. I like his roles. I know people think he's everywhere, but I think him as Reed is really good. But yeah, I'm excited for it. Number 4, I'm going Sinners. Anything with Ryan Coogler, he can do anything, and I'm gonna watch it. Oh, I thought you said we were doing
Cheater.
I thought you said we were going like what we just did, like 10 through 6.
I thought he meant like the first time.
Yeah, what we did for the.
Oh, okay, my fault.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Sinners.
All right. So for my 5, I have a movie that I literally know nothing about. I'm doing it based on the 2 leads. It's called The Drama, and it stars Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. It's There's that leaked footage that came out with her yelling at someone driving, and
that's that Oakland coming out of her.
Yeah. Is this? Have you any of you seen Dream Scenario with fucking?
I need to. No, I need to watch that.
I haven't seen either. It's the same director with Nicolas Cage.
Dream Scenario. I've heard great things about it. I haven't watched it yet.
It came out 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Same director. I've only heard. I'll read the synopsis. A couple in the days leading up to their wedding faces a crisis when an unexpected revelation derails one of them. This is not spelled right. It's one of them knew about each other. So yeah, I'm really just doing this because Robert Pattinson and Zendaya, some of the best actors of our time, probably have great chemistry together. I can see this being on my top 10. Just seems like one of those movies.
Yeah.
The drama.
Yeah. My number 5, I'm gonna go F1 because listen, I love Top Gun Maverick, same director. Like Brad Pitt. Anthony Idris, though. This is gonna be his big break. This is his opportunity because not enough people talk about Snowfall, and Snowfall is one of the greatest TV shows of the last few years, and it kind of gets overshadowed for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. But he's a fantastic actor, and I don't know much about the movie, but it's racing and cars are cool. And if it's filmed the way that Top Gun Maverick was, or close to that, that's gonna be awesome. Because I love Ford v Ferrari, and that's another car movie. So if it's anywhere in the realm of that, it's gonna be amazing. So yeah, that's my number 5. I don't really have a lot to say about it, but I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, you're 4.
But 4, I already said it. My fault. Sinners.
Who would have thought?
One of the best. I feel like an underrated actor-director duo in Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler. Yeah. They're doing. You don't know much about this movie. Haley Steinfeld's in it.
Delroy Lindo, I think, was in it too.
Yeah, and we just know that it's kind of a horror movie, and Ryan Coogler hasn't done horror if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he's done a horror movie. But I'm interested to see. This is a test for him. Let's see this movie could be freaking bananas. It seems like the plot's kind of unknown, but I think Michael B. Jordan's playing twins. I think, yeah, playing twins. So that's going to be interesting. But yeah, I'm excited for that movie.
I have the same number 4. I do have Sinners. I'm not even a big horror guy, but Ryan Coogler he's one of those directors that if he makes a movie, I'm going to go see it because I don't think he's had a miss yet. Creed 1 and 2, amazing. Black Panther, of course. He just gets it. He's one of those directors where it's like he's full control and it's great. And like you said, the Michael B. Jordan on top of that, like they work well together. And I think Michael B. Jordan's best performances are when Ryan Coogler is directing.
Yep.
And yeah, like you said, he's playing twins, something that'll be really interesting to see. I could see a potential Oscar nom. It might be coming out a little too early, where they might be forgotten, but it just seems like one of those roles. But yeah, the trailer looks really good, really intense, really different from a lot of horror movies that come out today. Haley Steinfeld's in it; she's great. Yeah, like I said, don't know too much about it, but based on that trailer and the cast and director, I'm really excited.
Yeah, I hate to keep it going, but Sinners that's my number 4 too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
For all the reasons everyone would like, and for all the reasons that you guys said for both, but also like this for me is interesting because this is like Ryan Coogler's first non-IP movie, like because he did, I think he did after he did Fruitvale Station, he did like Black Panther was after that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So Creed was after that, and
Yeah,
then Black
yeah,
Panther,
yeah.
and then he did both Black Panther movies, and this is his first like non-IP movie. Which I love Creed 1 and both Black Panther films, but like this is his baby completely, like with no franchise baggage or anything. So we should see like what he does here, like a world that he built himself. Like Michael B. Jordan is one of my favorite actors working today. I think he doesn't. Maybe it's like the roles he takes, but I don't think he gets discussed as like up there with like some of the best actors, which I think he is. He just hasn't really had a chance to show that. I don't think, other than like maybe Killmonger. But like I think this role, like playing two different characters, playing twins, is like his big opportunity to like showcase that. And I hope he does. I hope he is phenomenal and he does get that Oscar nod. But yeah, like I'm a horror guy. It looks like it's like a period piece too, based on like the trailer. So that's another thing, a horror period piece. I'm always down for that. The cinematography looks great. It's filmed in IMAX, so you already know what it is when it's filmed in IMAX.
I watch in theaters.
Yep. Oh yeah, I'm excited.
All right, my number 3 is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, and anytime a Mission Impossible movie is coming out with Tom Cruise, it's going to be in my top 10. If this is indeed the final reckoning, like if this is the final reckoning, this is the last movie, then I expect nothing short of like terrific. This is Tom Cruise's like franchise. This is his baby. Christopher McQuarrie is back as director. Haley Atwell's in it. If this is the last movie, they're gonna go balls to the wall. There's nothing that more that needs to be said. It's Tom Cruise, one of the best franchises in cinema history with Mission Impossible. This movie needs to come out as soon as possible. I cannot wait until May because it's going to be a knock out of the park.
All right, my number 3 is F1. Brad Pitt is one of my favorite actors ever. And when you put Brad Pitt in a sports movie, it's going to be a banger. Moneyball, I think the greatest sports movie ever. I think one of his best roles ever. And he's doing a completely different sport, completely opposite sport with F1 and racing, which I really don't know a lot about and doesn't get a lot of love in Hollywood, but I think it's starting to now. You got the Gran Turismo movie a few years ago, and which was pretty good, yeah. And like I said, the Top Gun Maverick director directing this. Those racing scenes are gonna be insane. The sound is gonna be like crazy.
Wow,
a loud fucking movie. Yeah, it's one of those. It's gonna get an Oscar for sound. So yeah, I'm just really excited to see not only Brad Pitt but see visually how they're gonna do these racing scenes. I saw glimpses of it in the trailer, but yeah, I'm really excited to see this one in the theater.
I'm going to concur with RJ. I'm going to go Mission Impossible here. Listen, they're one of the most consistent franchises. Like all the movies are good except one of them, and we all know which one it is. That's not good. We all know which one it is.
Yeah.
Like they're all great films. Like it's hard for me to pick my favorite because they're all around the same in terms of quality. It's like crazy to think about for a franchise that's like on 8 now. But yeah, like I love part 1, Dead Reckoning. I really hate that they released it at the time that it did. Like that was really dumb.
Not smart.
Like right before Barbenheimer. Like, what do you think was gonna happen? But it's Tom Cruise. I'm really interested to see, like, especially what happened at the end of the last movie. Like, where do we go from here? Like, that was a hell of a way to end that
Yeah.
movie. And if this really is the last one, like that's even more reason to see how this thing, like how it ends, like what happens to like Ethan and his team and how they get themselves out of this, because this one's different. And like the action scenes, the stunts, I know the stunts are gonna be ridiculous. Tom Cruise is out of his damn mind with some of the stuff that he's getting up to in these movies. Like he's doing it all himself. That's insane. So yeah, I'm super stoked for Mission Impossible.
All right, well, my number 2. It is the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie. We don't know much about it, but it's got my favorite actor of all time in it, and Leo DiCaprio. Paul Thomas Anderson, really terrific director. It's got Regina Hall in it. She's a very underrated actress. Really funny. So
Does that have a title?
I don't think it does. That's why like I put it like as Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
I didn't hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it has a title, but there's rumors like it's called like the Battle of Bacton Cross. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think Benicio is also in this movie, so he's got a good cast.
That's a dope cast.
Again, don't know much about it, but it's a Leo movie, and Paul Thomas Anderson, I think this is their first time working together as well. So, and Leo picks his projects. Really, he's very strategic with his projects. So that's my number 2.
Okay. My number 2 is actually Wake Up Dead Man, the Knives Out mystery, which is the third installment.
I got that on my list. That's crazy.
I love the Knives Out franchise. The first 2 movies I think are just really good for the movie industry. I feel like because people watch these movies, even if you're not a like film person, you see that big cast and the murder mystery, which is I think such like a still it's I'm surprised it's not done more because it's such a great concept and idea. Daniel Craig, I think this is his best role ever, and he's in a lot of good stuff. I think he's one of those guys who's just born to play this character, and he brings something different to the character in the first movie and the second movie, and you can just tell by his appearance in this third one from that picture that came out. He looks totally different, so it's going to be. And the first 2 movies are both totally different from each other, like they're totally different. And I like both. Knives Out 1, I think, is incredible. I think it's a damn near perfect movie. 2, it's not nearly as good, but I still had a fun time with it. And 3, I think the cast, you got Kaylee Spaney, you got Kerry Washington, Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, and so on and so on. Jeremy Renner, Mila Kunis, I think.
Yeah, he is in this.
You got to stack.
I feel like he's the killer, but yeah, I feel he's gonna be the killer. But yeah.
Every time I try to predict the killer, I'm always wrong. But yeah, I love these Knives Out movies, and I'm really excited for this one. I hope it's not on Netflix though.
I really hate that they did that.
Second one, yeah.
Why? I mean, it wasn't great, but still, that's a theater movie.
Yeah, I would have loved to see that in theaters.
Yeah,
I think didn't it play like for like a week and they took it out.
It was like I think a month before it came out.
Yeah,
it was for Thanksgiving and they took it off.
Yeah,
like, who goes to go see movies? Like I don't know.
Exactly.
My number 2. Yeah, my number 2. Very personal pick. Very biased because they're my favorite superheroes. Well, besides Spider-Man. So like, Fantastic Four. I have a ton of faith. Yeah, I'm not saying the first steps. I'm not saying.
Yeah, I don't like that subtitle.
I have a ton of faith in this only because it's been done so badly twice, technically 3 times, but we don't only count the first one because the 90s one is basically made to be a tax write-off. So like no one, you can't even really watch it anywhere. But it's been done so badly. Like I feel like that Marvel knows that like, hey, we have to deliver on. Like there is no way we can mess this up a third time because if you do, just don't ever touch it again after that. Like don't even try anymore because clearly there's nothing. But the cast, it's not. There's a whole thing that went on with the cast, like what actually happened with the original cast that was rumored. Like there's a whole thing about that, whole rabbit hole. I like the cast. I think Vanessa Kirby is like spot on for Sue Storm. Like she is going to kill it.
Yeah.
I really like how did I forget his name? Joseph Quinn for Johnny. I think he's gonna prove a lot of doubters wrong. I think he's a fantastic actor. I mean Ebon Moss, like dude, he steals every scene he's in The Bear, and I can't think of anyone.
I got stabbed.
Played Ben, like Richie in The Bear. I can't think of a better like person to play Ben. And I do like Pedro as Reed. If they do Reed the way I think they're gonna do him in this movie, which is like the world's smartest man, but also just a dad. I can't think of anyone who does that better than Pedro, because Pedro is like the go-to dad.
He's a dad.
He's done it so many times. Mandalorian, obviously, Joel and Last of Us, like he can do that. And I love everything I've heard about like stylistic choices. Like you got Max Shackman, who, regardless of your feelings on WandaVision, by the end of it, like the period stuff that they directed in that, like the way they captured a different feel of the decades and everything, like that was flawless.
He's got a style.
He's directed some amazing episodes, literally like Mad Men, Breaking Bad. I think he did. Succession. He's done. He did It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's done The Boys. Yeah, he's literally the TV guy. He's like one of the greatest TV directors of all time. I think they're really, like RJ said, there's a vision behind this movie, like the whole 60s futuristic stylized stuff, like that's awesome to me, is paying homage to like the very first like comics and stuff like that. And I'm super on board with like every choice I've heard. I love doing Galactus first, which it seems like they're doing.
Yes.
Going big and finally getting it right after whatever they did it to try to do in Rise of Silver Surfer. I still don't know what they were trying to do with that, but yeah, there's a lot riding on this, but I think this is Marvel trying to do something wildly different, which they need, and I'm really excited to see it. I think it's going to deliver.
To add to your point, before I say my number one, Pedro has this thing with his voice, and I think his voice is one of the reasons why he got the role, because his voice is perfect for Reed. It's very, very perfect.
We'll see. I don't know. When I picture Reed, I don't see Pedro Pascal.
Fair. My number one, I'm pretty sure it's all of ours. Superman. James Gunn Superman. This is the true start of the new DCU. I mean, you could say Creature Commandos, but nah, this is it right here. This needs to hit. And I think what better person to helm one of the most iconic superheroes of all time in Superman, and James Gunn, who is probably the best comic book director working right now. I don't even think it's much debate, because he is just a fan like us. He understands these characters. Yeah. And David Cornsweet, he's not known, but he's going to be known now. I mean, he's been, in Twisters and Pearl. He was pretty good in both movies, but I think he's going to kill it in Superman. That trailer was an emotional trailer, and I'm not even a big Superman guy, and that trailer made me emotional. This is very personal to James Gunn. I believe he said he's making it for his dad, and that scene with Paul Kent, and Clark, and that's amazing. Rachel Brosnan is probably the most perfect casting as a Lois.
Oh, she's great.
She's great. Have you seen her in other stuff? She was good in House of Cards, and I think Nicholas Hoult is going to steal the show as Lex, because he had himself a year this year too. He had himself a year, and I think he's going to channel that hatred, because he auditioned for both Batman and Superman and didn't get it. So he's going to channel that inner hatred, and I can't wait for this movie. There's a lot riding on it. It's got a lot of pressure on it, because it's got to be good financially and critically, and I think it will do both. It's James Gunn. He hasn't had a miss, and I got a lot of faith in it.
Yeah, I have no doubt the same number one with James Gunn Superman. One of the most, if not the most iconic superhero ever. Like you said, no better hands than James Gunn. Every James Gunn superhero movie feels like a comic book, and I think Superman has done very good. He's his best in his comics and animation. and not live action. So I think it's really good that they're pulling from the comics and not scared of going kind of the cheesy approach to it. Because I think that works for Superman. He's not supposed to be this dark, brooding character. No, he's a symbol of hope. He's supposed to look a little silly. He's supposed to have like the fucking underwear, whatever, trunks. Yeah. The trailer looks absolutely amazing. It looks like it's taking a piece out of Superman and Lois's book and having the backbone of this movie be the relationship between Superman and Lois, which is, I think, the best part of these characters. And I think they said the reason they casted Rachel Bronson is her chemistry with David Cornsweet. They had really good chemistry, which I'm really excited to see. The visuals look amazing. It looks exactly like how I think Metropolis would look live action, how it should look live action. Lex Luthor, I'm so excited for him.
Nicholas Hoult, man.
Finally, he's starting out bald live action. I don't know why.
Thank you. I hate when they do that shit.
Why?
Lex Luthor should not have hair, man. He shouldn't have it. I don't like it.
Part of his fucking character.
Yeah.
He's insecure. So yeah, I think this movie will be great. I really do. I think the trailer just proved that even more. I hope it's focused on just telling a Superman story, not setting up anything else. Obviously, it has other superheroes in it. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think this is going to be the best Superman movie we've gotten since Christopher Reeve. So yeah, that's my number one.
Number one, Karate Kid Legends.
Fuck off. Would be some kind of Karate Legends?
What are we? A couple Karate Kid Legends.
Oh god.
Nah,
that'll be a fun stream.
I can't wait for that review. Oh my god. Because we'll be just coming back from Jersey after that too. So
It will do a live action.
We do a live review
in person.
Live review. Nah, it's Superman. That's my number one. Like Superman, he's always been one of my favorite heroes, and this is why I really hated. Not to get negative. This is why I really hated what the DCU did with Superman, because I was like, this is not. Listen, I think Henry Cavill was great, and what he was given. He never really got a fair shot. It's really unfortunate, but trying to ground Superman just doesn't make sense to me. It's like that's the opposite of what this character is, and I like that from the trailer and from everything Gunn has said about it. Like they're embracing like you said, like the cheesiness, the corniness, because like that's what makes Superman. He's just like he's a guy from Kansas. Like that's who he was raised as, and I like that. Like Gunn, like when you think Gunn, you don't really think Superman. Like that's not the first thing that comes into your head. You think like he's like, you think like Guardians of the Galaxy and like Suicide Squad, where it's like this gang of even Creature Commandos, like this gang of misfits, who, like really loud and brass personalities, but like
C-list characters too.
Yeah, C-list. Like this is like the superhero who like really started all of this. But like Gunn, you can tell by the way he talks about it, like he understands the character a lot, and he has just like a reverence for it. And he's talking about how he wants to, like Superman to represent like an optimist, like an old school like optimism in like a world that's kind of like gray and cynical and stuff like that. And I really think that's a really great angle to take on it. And like Nicholas Hoult, like I said, he's had a fantastic year. He's been so many things this year, period. So he's been great in so many things, and I think this is his big. I mean, he's done the big franchise thing before. I mean, he was in the X-Men movies, but like those were up and down. And this is like obviously he's gonna play Lex Luthor, who's probably like one of the most iconic villains of all time. And I think he's gonna kill it. David Cornsweet, I think is gonna do a phenomenal job. Like the cast is great. The trailer was phenomenal. I rewatch it like every week. That's how good it is. I'm just really interested to see like where they go with, because we really don't know much about like the actual plot of it still, which I think is really good. They didn't give anything away. I'm really interested to see like where they go with this. And there's a lot of pressure on this movie. Like it has to do great with critics, it has to make money, fans have to like it because it's kind of launching the whole DCU. It's kind of their Iron Man in 2008 in a way.
Yeah.
And a lot was riding on that movie, and I think it's going to do a similar thing. I think it's going to be a hit, and I think it's going to catch on, and it's going to hopefully start a new era for DC. And I could be more excited for it.
I had a feeling that was going to be all of our number ones.
Yeah.
Because that's all we do is these past few weeks have talked about this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be an exciting year for movies for sure. And like I said, a lot of the more art house films will pop up kind of randomly. Yeah. Hopefully they'll release longer in theaters this time. Well, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this episode, right?
First episode in the books.
Yeah.
That's one for the books.
It's the start, hopefully, of a big channel. If you guys are still watching, I know this is a long one, 2 hours, 20 minutes. Thank you for watching this whole thing. Subscribe, tell your friends, comment down below if you want us to talk about anything. Do you guys want to tease what we might be doing in the future? Any ideas?
Reviews. We'll definitely talk about like art house like films, like reviews, news like regarding like films, like even like not just like franchise films, but like directors like Nolan's. Like we started a channel like before, like we would have been covering like the casting and stuff, and like our theories on what the movie's about and stuff like that. And, you know, just stuff that people don't talk about enough.
Yeah,
we had some ideas for like some fun segments, like where we might rewatch a movie that none of us have seen in a while, and kind of like compare notes what we think about it. Or I kind of have this idea of like a hear me out type thing where we pitch, where like one of us talks about a movie that we really like that people really don't like. That's probably not a good movie, but we try to like vouch for it, kind of like play lawyer for it, and we kind of see if it passes the smell test for the others. I think that'd be kind of a fun idea, and we can kind of do a community poll and see if people actually like enjoying that movie or not. Yeah, it's fun stuff like that. Yeah,
got a lot of good stuff coming, guys. I'm really excited for this. We've been wanting to do this for a while, and I think we're starting off well. I think it was a really good first episode. If you guys watching want to follow us on our socials, it's up there in our corner. That's all our socials. Please follow us on there. Subscribe to this channel. Comment what you think of this video, what we could improve, what you want us to add, what you liked, all that jazz, and like, subscribe, do all that. And yeah, we'll see you guys. I guess we should say we'll try to do this every week.
Weekly.
We'll eventually get a specific day where it'll be like every Tuesday or whatever it'll come out. And then maybe we'll eventually do some live streams and some other fun stuff.
Definitely. Yeah. We're thinking about doing something for the Oscars. Maybe.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. We know the Golden Globes are tomorrow. We're thinking of doing our reactions next video. We'll talk about that. And yeah, we got a lot of good stuff cooking. Thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Peace out.